Welcome. We are back. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and just jump right into the action. We've got a new caster this week with me. It's Malmo. I am back. Bandit with me this week. How are you today, bud?
We've been enjoying some wild brewing now that the meta is still and still ripe for the taking. So I'm very much looking forward to seeing cooked up for this week.
Yeah, it's very nice as well too. As I've been chatting all throughout here, I'm actually participating. The reason why I'm not casting this weekend, I casted the European, is because I'm playing in this one. So I've been able to try to get some games in, get some reps in. I am a heavy Lindway player, so been trying to get my matchup shored up here. Got one that's really rough on me, and I'm hoping I don't need to make a last minute pivot. But if Sierra happens to be popular, I may have some trouble here. We've got a table one here. We've got a Ortis mirror match with Sigismar. We got a unique Foundry mechanic that's on the screen right now. It says when another non-token character joins your expedition, if you control a token, create an Ortis recruit in your hero expedition. And when played from reserve, you have less than 8 mana orbs. Up to one target character gains a sleep. When it's played from reserve, you can have it gain 2 boost. Um, Davi here busts out the Jack Frost. We have exhausted this Ortis trooper. We're trying to get a bit of a control
Where do
right
you want
now. Tau up
where do you
there.
want me to get video from here, Mama?
Oh, it's the actual. So if you go to the announcements, the link that's posted for the actual tournament, you just go there and you go to the actual table. Sorry, I didn't know if they
Well,
had
I'll,
told you
I'll
that or
do
not.
some
So
traveling in the announcements. You
yeah,
say.
yeah. So it's like should be like weekly tournament announcements in the AWOL server,
That
and it
one.
should have the one from Monday. Yep. Yeah, you click on it, go to table one, and that's where I'm at. Yeah, that's why I'll tell you what table number I'm at. So that way you can click and follow along.
Gotcha. So just through the BGA one. That is lovely. Right,
Yeah,
let me get
yeah,
you filled
just
up
through
on that.
BGA. All right, yep. As we wrap this day up
Adorable. Let's see
here,
where we're at.
um, we've got we've got Davi moving along. 3 zones is what separates them between the hero and the companion expedition. 3 that's also on the top Sigismar as well too. So everything is even on the board right now, but resources are being taxed extremely heavy by the Tau Sigismar. As once they resource, they've only got 2 cards in hand and 1 card in reserve. Our Sigismar Davi down here, our Spaniard Sigismar, he's got or they I should say have 3 cards in hand as they resourced as well. So just a little bit of card advantage there. Tiles opening up with the Orders Trooper from reserve. Get chat pulled up here. I got you squared away here. Room folks in chat. Hello, room folk. Hopefully, we don't have any hostage decks here. You missed it last week, Bandit. I don't know if you caught any of the stream or the stream replay, but we had an Acacia
Hostage deck.
hostage deck.
What are we?
Yes, that room
Uh
folk
oh.
absolutely just took pleasure in seeing happen here. As we get another, oh, look at this unique Ozma that's coming out here. Says at dusk, I can control 3 or more characters, draw a card. That's standard. However, this one says you control 2 more landmarks when played from hand. Create an Orders recruit in your other expedition. We don't have any landmarks, which makes me wonder playing it for the draw to save spots in our rare, or do we have landmarks that we play out of the Sigismar deck? As teamwork training comes out and instantly sends uh, this Ozma to reserve. At the end of the day, we're doing a 1-1 trade. So both of these Sigismars are keeping up with each other. However, we have hit the dreaded top deck for Tau here. No more cards in
Yeah, and
hand, so they're just
being
only
so
going to be able to
short
play.
on resources. Being so short on resources is really hurting, right? You're getting some higher mana cards in there that will be bailing you out just a little bit. But being low on resources whilst also not being ahead on the expedition track, that is just not a position to be in right now.
Yeah, and I wonder if this Sigismar, if they're just not seeing their cards draw, or if maybe we're just seeing like a super aggro Sigismar just wants to play everything in their hand every turn and just try to overwhelm you from there. As we see the Jack Frost that comes in, exhausts out that Templar that's down there. Now we really are
Uh,
just relegated to whatever we have in hand.
from bad to worse, as the Sigismar is really limited in his options now. Get some bailout on this side, but it's gonna cost him big time in just pure pressure in the expedition. A little extra token dropped by our good friend the Templar will be tad bit nullified, and I think it's one of those moments where it's easy to get caught up in a situation to really just drop immediately your token spawners and really maximize the value you can get out of it like that. But even now, even if there is another play um for Telonius here, our Sigismar on top, it's gonna cost him in the reserve once again, just like that. Well, gets bailed out
Yeah,
with
yeah,
a
and
little
then on the
teamwork
back
training.
end, yeah, and Tao again. Now it looks really good that it had that gift itself because they drew two cards, forced Davi this day to exhaust all their resources out of reserve and from hand. Um, However, we'll see if that will going to be if that temporary pressure that Davi's now created is going to be what's needed to seal a deal, or if it's going to come back to bite them in the end here. Because sure, on the board they've got the lead, but once again, being relegated to only having what's in your reserve and top decking, we'll see if Sigismar looks like they did actually decide to discard
And
for mana. So they
it
will.
is very, very tricky right now because if you look at the expeditions they are in, right, heavy, heavy green on the side of Davi here, our Spanish player.
Mhm.
And let's just be very honest, right? Right now you have to Jack Frost that will help a little bit in getting in green, but besides that, your options in green can be a tad bit limited, even more
Oh,
so when your own
oh,
cards are getting exhausted in reserve. And look how much access there
man.
is to blue from the side, the access to water. That means Sandmans will be extra detrimental to getting to a win here. So despite being behind in expeditions, I like the position that Telonius is in right now.
As we now got the Ortis Attorney with the greatest throwback to Phoenix right there. I love this card every time I see it so much. From the pose to the flavor text, it is all Phoenix right. As we just mentioned, the Sandman, there he is. Um, Putting our own character to sleep and giving it boost, saying we've got a zone lead. We can afford to be set back, quote unquote, for a day and to benefit
Not
us the
only
next
that,
turn.
they are making sure that their reserve is not overflowing. It is such a good tempo play. That means that they will probably take a 2-0 loss today, but keeping the resources, the little amount of resources that they do have, relevant, not wasting a single one. And
Oh,
getting countered by
they
your
both seen
own
their
Sandman.
Sandmans the same turn.
But now you, yeah, and that is a little bit of that awkward position you can be in because look at the reserve of Telonius right now, overflowing over the brim, and discarding two cards from your reserve is going to hurt big time.
Yeah, we have to really pick here because again we're at the stage as Telonius where we're top decking. So your choices here for what you decide to keep in reserve are going to be absolutely huge and far as far as for what you're going to be able to play next turn. However, it does have the help. You know, we do have Sigismar's at noon trigger, so we're already starting with fours across the board in the hero expedition. Which kind of means that we're at the point to where we only need to win one or the other lane. So we could maybe see a potential like overflow again, because Davi here is going to also depend on having answers from what they draw as well, because the Sandman, that asleep triggers only when played from hand.
Yeah, and I feel like they're as Davi, you kind of tipped your hand, right? At that point, Thelonious knows what is up, and he could have saved the Sandman for himself, maybe sleeping the mechanic the next day after, and instead play your Templar instead, putting some extra pressure
Hmm.
on that expedition like that, while saving some resources. Goes the more aggressive route once that two mana 0/3/3, but he will not be allowed to play it unanswered. Will be answered by a Sandman of its own, and then suddenly What is the
and then
position
a Jack
as this
Frost as
as the
well.
frost comes out regardless?
Hmm. And that just might wrap up the deal here, unless we've got answers in hand here. Um, Davi's looks like they are climbing an uphill battle right now. Got plenty of
Yeah, and
mana on the
it's like you
side
said
of
earlier,
Talonius here. Yeah.
because he is stuck in green, the value of that Sandman is really mitigated the first time around, even more so when it is exhausted the next time. And it's only really frogs that can bail him out. But 6 mana and 2 cards left. Don't sleep on that. There can be a lot of hidden power still.
Nice. Yeah, and now we see Tal here taking quite a bit. These players are playing at a great pace. We got 6 minutes and 7 minutes of thinking time overall between the both of them, as they are trying to figure out what's best. Look like Tal's opting to apply the double lane pressure, which may signify that we do have a character in hand that we feel confident about that is going to seal the deal for us in either expedition, as we are going to now force Sigismar or Davi Sigismar here to have the answer in hand. Curious to see what's going to come out here.
Yeah, and that is the worst position to be in against an Orders player when they have lined their pockets with plenty of characters, and that final card you're just dreading is going to be a teamwork training. You're just dreading that it's going to be another Sandman, right? They have so many scalpels in their arsenal where they can hit you with that pinpoint precision.
And again, the biggest thing that made that difference, if you go back a couple of days, remember Talonius played that gift itself, just being able to draw those two cards, and it got the answers that he needed over the next 2 days to kind of set themselves up for this position. And that's kind of a lot of what made the difference, as we hadn't seen a ton of draw effects from either Sigismar here, which is usually shocking because, as you know, Bandit Sigismars, once they get the road, they're the reason why so much draw effects have been suspended within the Orders faction, just because they're usually just drawing to the nines.
Here it is, the last hurrah coming out from Davi. And what will the answer
Yeah.
be? It is a frog sealing it up. Couldn't have come at a better time, to be very honest. And that is, well, you know what? I'll say it, an upset.
Right. As we got there, they've got to clear out the days, but this game has all but been wrapped up. I'm going to hop down here as they are just officially finishing that up and seeing what other table that we can hop into here. See a game that's not in too much progress.
While you're scouting, I mean, with the changes made, we
Getting into
have
your cash.
seen the results of Sigismar
Yeah, 40.
diminish as time passes. But don't sleep on just the incredibly
That's something
high
50.
floor that Sigismar brings to the table, that faction deck of Orders brings to the table, whether it is physical in your kitchen or online in the board game arena. There's just that
Yeah.
power level that is, for other factions, tough to match if they are not honed at it.
Yeah. We're going to hop into table two here as I'm trying to get it loaded up. There we go. BJ likes to run fast until we have Mondays. On Mondays, it takes a minute to stuff load up because Mondays usually they are always filled up. Always.
All
Cool. All right.
right,
We have
all
hopped
right.
into another Orders, except not a full mirror, just a faction mirror between Sigismar and Gorang here. It looks like Gorang has got the engine rolling. We've got two Orders carriers up. We've got a mobile armory, so all that defenders, even though I don't think it's happening now because, yeah, we're at 10 mana. So it should be an issue here.
But
Make
just
sure
look
that
at the
everybody.
absolute disgusting amount of cards held by our French representative,
eight,
currently sitting
eight.
on 8 cards and a mythic, definitely a unique in reserve. And and if you could roll 4 more characters, draw a card for 2/1/1, you gotta give up some of that expedition pressure for that extra card draw. Stalling
Oh,
out at the very moment as this Gorang is running low on resources. Can stall for one more time, and they have leveled up in pressure on the expeditions, but as a Sigismar, 6 mana to work with, where you're gonna have to go at the very least, even
We got that
just
Foundry
to keep
mechanic
yourself in
there.
the
I'm
game.
trying to get my name and time figured out there. Here. There we go.
All
All right. For some
about
reason,
the
I did not
stalling
want to
that
switch over so
Gorang
that
can
we
get
could
out right now.
see the stats. All right,
But one
there
more.
we are. I don't know why it didn't jump from table to table for me. Right, we've got
All
that
right.
fixed there.
Well, the pressure is mounting as Gulrang is really pumping up these numbers, but as they do, they cannot secure the win today. However, look at these resources being pumped in and all the discarding that has to happen next turn, right? Especially at 11 mana next turn. That is where extra cards really can make all the difference, especially if you have those token spawners, especially if you have to pay off the higher mana cost cards that you can stack on top of each other. But is it enough if you cannot win a single expedition today?
Yeah, and then there we go with the conscription. This is just pouring it on even more. Every time I see Gorangs start getting orders recruits going, I just think about the separatist march. I just see just droves of B1s just marching on over over the terrain. They're just taking advantage of it. Bandit, it seems like we are having a bit of lag. I don't know if you can turn your webcam off for me and see if we can get some help there. I'm seeing about some lag in chat. Uh, Maybe we
Lag.
can see if that'll help
Ooh.
out just a wee bit.
Let me see what I can do for you there. There. Oh, we're matching today. You look so good, Melmo.
Thank you. Now that I am now an avatar that is pretty good now. Uh, I would say even a world qualifier here to say the least. Atsari here got so much love from Whispers from the Maze here. I'm excited about Skybound. As we're waiting for all these numbers to be tallied up here in Gorang's next play. Have you are you excited here, Bandit, for what we've seen so far for Skybound?
Oh, oh, you're preaching to the choir here, buddy. I've been looking at replacing my desk since the drool just seemed to slip off all the now. No, I've been extremely excited to be kicking off Skyward Odyssey. I mean, we're expecting the spoilers relatively soon. I would say, like maybe in a week, maybe even
Yes,
two.
I can confirm. I cannot reveal anything yet, but yes, reveal season is
No,
starting here
just
soon.
just just from how I was usually running. I'd say a month before is usually when the marketing train starts to pick up speed a little bit, right? So
Yeah.
as we
Oh.
see some more shenanigans coming through as
We forced the tie though. That's the important thing here. We've actually Sigismar. We have forced the tie. Uh, or we have a tie, I should say, on the hero side, which I thought honestly it was just going to be a double advance for Gorang. So we might have some hope because Gorang exhausted nearly all of their resources here. Um, to
they have exhausted some of the resources, but in doing so have burned some value assets
yeah.
on the side of the DSL representative up on top. And most importantly, not gaining anything from it itself. They did not advance themselves. Yeah, they held the line in water, but that single step is all you need. And
Hmm.
that is just the beauty of a matchup like this. Patience pays off to the person who can hold it down the longest.
Yeah, and that's the beauty about like this is one thing that I do love about Altered. And it's a very rare TCG where I feel like every play style is almost viable. I'm sure there's a few decks that take the cake as far as
Yeah.
for aggro decks that are there. But if you like want to run a control or a late game deck, kind of how you want to set up your specific combo or engine,
Oh,
no,
this
it's
is very
viable to
interesting.
oh,
Our yeah, I'm
oh,
sorry for interrupting. However,
you're
we
good.
just saw our Gorang Mana a card, which is in this situation is kind of like waving a either a giant white flag or a giant red flag, and I'm not sure which one it is yet.
Right. I don't know. I'd be scared to pop out a unique atlas or something like that here with, my opponent
Watch him
having
do it.
8 cards in hand. So
Watch him do it. Well, the advance is moving on. We are continuing plopping down these little cluster bombs that Coolrang has at its
Yeah.
disposal. But with only two more plays, well, one more unrevealed play left, I think we can safely assume that in the 8 cards, there are no Order Spies. There will be no Jack Frosts available, as, well, you probably would by now.
Yeah. Yeah. That I think it would have fell out of their hand at this point in time. Hey, we got a
All right, there it
unique.
is.
Oh, draw three. Whew.
Oh
Oh
Lord, well that
yeah.
is a great reason to be to be manaing. That is an insane card,
And it has the
especially
still the
at this
regular
moment in the game.
status effect. I mean, or static of when the opponent draws one of more, they resupply, um, and create a orders recruit. This is an incredible unique for this goal ring here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would have loved to see it maybe, before they do drew the other 35 cards from the Sigismar deck. But hey, better late than never, right? And still in the Gorang deck, the chances that you drew a 2 mana card in those three is pretty high. So you can still pump out a lot of power. And I'll remind you, the Sigismar currently cannot really win today, right? He can't
No,
finish the game. Let's put it like that. And
no.
even when you do get another Sandman out, what are you going to sleep here, buddy? Are you really going to sleep the Quetzalcoatl that's only going to pump out more and more and more?
Yeah, and
No. So your options
we have to be
are
careful
limited.
here also as our Sigismar player because again, if we try to play any type of draw effects here, we're actually creating a token here, and with 2 mana left, there could be something that Gorang could easily play out in order to wind up suddenly taking the hero expedition as well and just ending the game today.
Yeah, with 7 mana available and still a 1 mana a little after you in rallying call from our Sigismar player, I think that going 2-0 today would be absolutely outrageous. However, they are ahead, and that is all they need. All they have to do is go 1 for 1 today, and then one more time tomorrow.
Yep, and then this is what these late decks try to do. Of course, I'd say that it kind of originated with Akesha. We called it the zigzag method. So you can kind of put yourself in a board state to where all you have to do is just keep winning one side or the other constantly, and then you'll win the game. It's not a strategy that works too well if both players are tied in their expeditions, but once you gain a zone lead, then it's very. I'm not going to say it's easy to accomplish, but it's going to force your opponent to have the right answer every time in order to try to swing the game in their favor.
It is very simple, as time is starting to run low for our Swiss player. As options are running out, we'll get another 2-2-2 to tie him up further for tomorrow. Get a little power going. As a deck that wants to stall a bit earlier, you play the late game more effectively than your opponent if
Mm-hmm.
things go well. If things are going according to plan, my late game will be better than yours. I can make full use of 10 mana. You cannot. And it's in those places where you can really start hitting hard in Akeshas, in ghoul ranks, right?
Yeah,
So being up in expeditions like this just increases the margin where you can be like, well, I can even set up a little more. And there's
yeah, and I
so much
think
more territory to win back for the Sigismar.
I'm excited here as a Gorang player. We got a Conjuring Seal that's played, which either tells me, okay, I'm giving up for the day, or I'm trying to fish for answers. So it could be either way here. And I do want to stop and take a moment. We talked about giving up, trying to stall the early game to have the better late game. That is a common TCG tactic for anyone who's familiar not just with Alter. It might be new to playing TCGs. Again, it is a viable strat, and that's how you get to being able to play those more late powerful cards. You just hoping to tie up things in the early few days and then kind of get advanced later. That's what you normally typically call either control or stall decks. So if you feel like that's kind of a play style that you think that you like to see here, these are the type of characters that you will look to play if you're looking to get interested into the game, into TCGs in general.
Yeah, it is looking up and up for the Gorang player, but you can't rest on your laurels knowing that a Sigmar player will be having 12 mana at their disposal and 8 cards, a fully gassed up reserve. do not underestimate, because look at the expeditions where you are sitting in.
Yeah.
Two solo expeditions. That is already not great, because it's so easy to be. It's very straightforward. There's no pivoting in here, and Ordis has no access to switching up the expeditions you are in, and you're so susceptible to those Sandmans currently.
Yeah.
Gulrang has some more leeway, as you know, there are many threats on the board, so a single taking one, a single one, doesn't hurt as much. However, the value that you are getting from the Sandman, the stalling that you get to do with the rallying cries, with the low curve creatures, right, cannot be underestimated.
Yes, and that's the beautiful thing about Ortis as a faction. I feel like that Equinox has done a fantastic job as a whole of like, every faction has its holes. I know sometimes it seems like Ortis is just hard to overcome. Like we talked about, without anything like hooked, which we've seen in the last European qualifier, just be an absolute devastating card um, that was used to great effect in multiple games that we had seen over the World Qualifier and over a lot of top tier competitions. Ortis doesn't have access to something like that. They either have to put you to sleep, but sometimes putting to sleep feels bad if I don't have the answer the next turn. Or, forbid that we are going to what I like to call the Thunderdome, the tiebreaker. That's the last place you want to sleep somebody, is you're giving a disadvantage to yourself on the next turn. We're just seeing rallying calls just going back and forth here out the wazoo from both players here.
Yeah, but the resources are slowly drying up on this side of our Gulrang player here, as only 6 mana left to play with. And it's early to speak for a tide that is turning, as cards are slowly drying up. But
Ooh, we've got the overseer that's out
currently, the
here.
state to be in, it is a tricky position to play from, as you know that, well, you might have to play a next turn. You have to start committing right now as a Ghoul rank player. So you are kind of tipping a little bit of your preferred strategy in the upcoming few minutes.
Yeah. Real quick in chat, room folk, while you're here, did you ever make that video or that post about dealing with the hostage decks? I know we talked about that last week. Um, didn't know if you had got around to getting there or not. Hopefully he's still in chat here. Usually he stays for pretty much the entire event here. So while we're getting that going there, Sigismar. Not both our players are out of time. Of course, Sigismar has or is less over as Gorang is. As we get this unique Ozma that's come to the board, it just says if you control a token, draw a card. Wow, that is an incredible Ozma. Normally, you have to have 3 or more characters or something along the lines of that. It just says, hey, you have one, get one. Teamwork training. We talk about this card, don't we?
Yeah, it is one of those many scalpels that Ordis has access to pinpoint at someone and be like, no, thank you, please, back of the line. And now it is very simple. How much power can the Sigismar push out here? They have one expedition locked up, and the Sandmans are pouring it on right now. A 3 mana will be a 5 mana sway, but they're gonna have to bring currently. They are they're passing. Do they have a 1 drop? Yes, they
Oh, they
do.
do. The
And with
Orders
a
Trooper. And that would be enough.
man,
No. Yeah. What a
what a
game.
nail
What a
biter.
play. Oh man.
And
Room folk told me,
a
nah, I'm not doing videos, but still hostage people on BGA. Room folk, you monster. Oh no, it didn't finish the end of the day. Um, okay, it doesn't matter though, because the player still won, because it still should have been um
yeah, definitely.
yeah, DSL. Okay, that worked out that
Yeah.
way. All right. I don't even know if we have any more uh games
Well,
in
we're
progress.
going over time right now, so I mean they should be going bye bye.
Should be in. Yeah, here we go. All right. Looks like table 4 is ready to go. I'm hopping into table 4.
All right, let me see if I can match that.
Table 4 and round 2, as we're now
Lightning
into the
fast
second
speed.
round here of AWOL Monday, week 12 here. Waiting for our players to choose their faction. Scroll down here, make sure our information is all good to go. Like
Now,
we
whilst they
are.
are decks, I'm gonna bring it back to Skybound Odyssey because I've been salivating at great length over these new cards, and I can't wait till the cards start coming in as well. Because the heroes are one thing, but the cards will be the real difference makers. Now,
uh, I
when we
will
are
say,
talking about heroes,
yeah, yeah, go ahead.
yes,
I
say
will
what you want.
say, chat and Bandit. I have got my content creator reveals. I've been given my time frame that's recommended for that, and I'm going to tell you, um, a faction that did not have some answers are getting some answers in Skybound, and I can't wait to do my reveals because I now believe that this faction is going to continue inching its way towards having a versatile playstyle now. Now that they are going to have a printed answer for a particular style of deck. As we have our players here with Sigismar and we got Basira this time here.
And cryptic talks for everyone in chat. I'm a real one, just like you. All that you know, I know. That is, I'm living in clouds and cope. That is my current playstyle. Um,
Yeah.
no, I can't wait. I think what Axiom has been showing, I love their design. I managed to get one of the game designers in the interview, and he said he was incredibly excited for what Axiom is going to be putting out onto the table with the upcoming set. And I think that the well, I'm sure you will agree with me as a Lindiva enthusiast that the sacrifice mechanic has not been getting the love it deserves, and now landmarks being put in there. I was secretly, maybe, if we're gonna be a tiny bit upset, I was secretly hoping that Ordis would be getting some landmark love with all of their many of the uniques that have been put out,
Yes.
that really brave landmarks, and
Yeah.
some of the rares as well. And I'm not seeing the support for it just yet, despite my numerous efforts. But man, I just can't wait.
And I will say that too as well. There are a ton of very good uniques that I see on the marketplace for ores, but like I said again, there are a lot of those if you control two or more landmarks that are along the lines of that. And I think that they are definitely underappreciated. I do like the new hero that Ortis is getting that's just saying that, if it's tied, they get to
It's
ascend, which means they still get to advance, which, ooh, we got an Occlut that's coming out to play here. Going to go ahead and exhaust that
and
Ortis
just more
attorney.
card draw in a
Um,
faction that craves it.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, no, I am excited for Skybound Odyssey here. Again, the artwork so far is looking fantastic as always. I have now made it a point to be excited to see what the tokens look like. Like I will say Whispers from the Maze Brass Bug token
Ooh.
was absolutely incredible. I'm curious to see what the Brass
Yes.
Bug tokens and the Orders recruits are going to look like in this new set as well too.
Yeah, and I'm very curious what I'm excited about. However, the thing I am equally excited about, maybe even a tiny bit more, is what the custom hand drawn tokens will be like. That the community makes. There are some artists out there, you know who you are. Oh my god, I wish I had your name ready. But man, there are some real, actual people with so much passion for not only their own artwork but the game as well, and it just jumps off the page.
That it does. As we are heading into day 3 here, resources both looking pretty healthy for both characters here. They've got the both. They've gone opposite advances, so the same amount of zones away from each other. So
Yeah,
I
and
still
Basira is still
50-50
manaing right
down the
now.
slot. Yeah, still 50-50 down the slot. A very very healthy board state for both players heading here into day 3. However, the Acolyte, may not be getting played this turn just because of how expensive it is, and we are, in those early days here with 5. So we'll see how things go here once the
Yes,
Sierra
and
decides to
also
resource here.
how absolutely devastating it can be when it does get to hit two targets. On the other side of the coin, you are looking at, ooh, I don't think that occludes is long for this world, will not be allowed
No.
to persist. Not today, not any day. But yeah, now you're in this little bit of an awkward situation where you have invested a lot of mana to answer a high mana threat, which is valuable. Do not get me wrong, getting rid of the occlude is very much a good play. But now look at your board state, and you can only you're probably going to dump one more attorney here as well. Your options are kind of limited. Meanwhile, for Basira, you are perfectly set up for a 2-0 day.
Yes, as we can see here, because it just takes a very simple ones. I'm thinking, what is it? What is it? Is it Fire Rabbit? I think we could just easily play a Fire Rabbit here on the Hero Expedition. Um,
Fire Rabbit into Chiron,
yeah.
it would be costly in cards. But even just going one for one today is not too bad. Maybe if you have that physical training, right?
Yeah.
Not a bad time to drop it. Yeah, you'll be giving a card away, but you're still going one for one whilst not spending that many cards and actually gaining some for
And
yourself.
the other thing that we can
So the
look at
options for
doing as
Basira
well too
are
is that
numerous.
that Orders Attorney, we could just decide, okay, we'll let you have this expedition so you don't get to draw that card, and I'll just win the other one and call it good.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, and just going one for one like that, that is one attorney you no longer have to worry about. That might be a fine proper win, but can you do it efficiently? That
Mhm.
is the question for our bravest player right now. Is the count coming through, and you're gonna have to expect that that boost is gonna land on itself,
Yep.
as it will.
Yep. Yeah. And that's the play, and I think that's kind of where I would have went as well too. Sure, I'll let you have the companion expedition, but I'm denying you being able to draw a card. We're still making opposite advances, so we're still not advancing the board state. But now, again, just making it difficult for you to be able to get value. We talked about that efficiency, getting value out of your pieces, such as the Orders Attorney.
Yeah, and just as a Sigismar playing, every time that Basira gets to go first, you are just praying that it's not another Akrut. Because currently, it's being played twice, usually at the very least, but running it thrice, I can definitely see being made room for. And the margins are quite thin in orders when you do not get to draw your card draw now. With just two orders turners already out of the way, you have drawn your card draw, but you did not do any drawing from it. So they're just 2 mana 2/2/2s that cost you a rare slot in this instance.
Yeah. And I mean, and again, I do also like the Orders Attorney. It's one of the best cards in the Orders faction because even if you don't get to trigger the effect, it is on curve for what you expect for a two cost. And just to kind of slightly explain what on curve is, it's any time for any of my Magic the Gathering players when you're playing a card ability. I'm pretty sure like the common thing is you're getting three stats per cost for your character. So, example, a one cost character you're expecting ones across the board, twos, et cetera, et cetera. So you're still at least getting the value in the raw stats. And then that's kind of how Orders Attorney winds up being what we call above the curve, which means at the very bottom, I'm still getting the raw stats that are good for the character, but I have potential bonus of being able to draw a card, which would be even better as well. As we see a Bravos Blade Dancer come down for Basira here.
Yeah, and as the Blade Dancer is coming through, I mean, it is an option, but for Basira, you're really being kind of pushed into a corner right now as your
Mm-hmm.
resources are being threatened over and over again. Will have to commit with another card from hand, and this is going to hurt.
We are setting. Oh man, I feel like we're boosting this blade dance, but we're setting ourselves up for a teamwork training to just absolutely decimate us here. Um, Granted, they'll still get to keep their boost, but I don't think right now you could afford to get too old. That would be a huge tempo shift for Sigismar if they can somehow make that. Obviously, we've got the Orders Attorney coming out, so maybe the teamwork training was not available in hand to make that happen. Uh, it
Or just not necessary right now,
could be
right? Because
too.
they're still going. They'll still be advancing on water. They'll still be advancing on their hero side. So they're going 2-1 today. That is, and I mean, I keep bringing it up, but only winning one day is everything you need. Look
Man,
what
that
has to be
eruption. We are
invested to
ooh,
salvage this day.
that's a heavy early cost though. I like Mana Eruption, but man, playing it as early in the game as here can really set you back on your resources, especially when we're now at the point where we're top decking here. Um, but we'll now get to say, was that tempo play okay? Where it's making it just a 1-1 instead of a 2-1. Only time was held here within the next day here as we're heading to day 5.
It's not as painful because you might be ramping with your Tiny Jin, and of course, it's a fleeting card, so you're not overflowing your reserve even further. So, but that is kind of a little emergency handbrake that has to come out from Basira just to go even.
Yeah. And again, these are these plays that we talk about. Just talk a little bit about strategy, not just again TCGs in general, but here in Altered. Sometimes that is okay. As my Sigismar player, I still got an advance, but I had my opponent blow through some heavy resources. Like again, now we're at the points where we're top decking, um, and it can really help to set up an advantage for the later term. So you kind of have to be thinking maybe a day or two in advance. As we see a Jack Frost come out, I'm pretty sure we're hitting that Bravo's Blade Dancer. Yep. Now we're just
Oh, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'm a fan of that actually.
yeah, yeah. I was gonna say because now the
I
Tiny Jin
think
is fleeted, you don't have that push that resource advantage you had in the mana pool.
yeah, that and also the Tiny Jin is very efficient for what it does, right?
Mhm.
Um, it is currently not threatening to stop our Jack Frost here.
Yeah.
That is the only upside. But also there are many other answers available in the Orders faction deck to deal with a 3/3/3 or that costs one. We're gonna see. I mean, he only has very limited cards available as well, as he had to discard the previous. All right, now makes
We had to
see
spend
this
the
is
boost to
a
draw a
little
card here.
painful.
Yeah, I think the attorney play is kind of signaling for me from the Sigismar player that we might not have those answers, which might have been why we went ahead and shot down the Blade Dancer. Uh, we just wouldn't have had the answers for it because, as you guys know, the rare reserve, I mean, the rare Blade Dancer has reserved that if I have four or less boosts, I lose fleeting, and they're only at two boosts right now, which means they would just constantly be able to cantrip that card every day unless you deal with it.
Yeah, and I'll be just very honest. This game is so quick. Both players were able to threaten a match win, whilst they're not even past 8 mana currently. So this game is going quick, and when a game is going quick, and just need to put a lot of raw power on the board, there's two philosophies that you can put on this, and that is I need lots of cheap cards, or I just need a lot of raw power, and both these factions are very well at one of those.
Yes, and then as we're waiting for these players here, Bandit, I would have to say I enjoy like hearing your enthusiasm and your love of the game. I could just tell, just hearing your voice, just hearing the excitement and how everything's going on, that you genuinely love this game. Um, and I could say that we are definitely clicked off well for our first time here coming together. I am definitely enjoying my time casting with you for certain.
Yeah, man, I'm feasting off what you're giving me. Like my I call that my approach to the cast. I was like, I want to keep a high energy cast because it's easy to get bogged down in the details of such a deep game that Altered is, right? But that cannot ever take away from the excitement. And I will say, we've had some matches to be excited about.
Oh yes.
There is a lot of back and forth going on, so that is definitely helping. But you are very much right. The company is bringing us very, very far. Shout out, Malmo.
Yes, and I will say that as well too. As this is not my first game that I've done casting for TCGs, I would definitely say that Altered it is it's very easy. I don't think I've had to, try to talk over dead air or like try to make it's very rare that blowouts exist in this game. So it's very easy to provide commentary for this game just because blowouts are something that's seems like the mechanics, and that's something that I talked about with the developers long ago, over a year ago when this game started, when we first, unveiled everything at Gen Con. It's just something that they have seemed to really been able to bake into the game mechanics that it's just man,
It
getting
is
blown out is so
so well
rare,
done.
so rare.
It is so well done. And here, this is what really fascinates me. I love engine
Yes,
building. I love
what is it,
grinding
son?
myself to an advance and playing long and marginal increases of value and grinding it out. And you can't do that in
Awesome.
Ultimate. It is very much about today and tomorrow. However, when you get deeper into mastering the game, I will say the differences in the caliber of player that plays this game were sort of like, oh my lord, you were really planning 2 3 days ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Where like how did you account for things happening in this game? And that is really where the good players separate themselves from the great players, is when it feels unfair with how your opponent's playing. Like, oh man, he's drawing always drawing the perfect answers. He always has
Mm-hmm.
the perfect cards ready. And sure, once it might be lucky, you know.
Right.
Twice, yeah, sure, that is just RNG. But when it's happening over and over, and it's the same players that are up high in the rankings, that is just
Yeah, and it's not just them being high up in the rankings with the same deck over and over again. They do it with multiple heroes, which just show that they
oh
have a deep understanding of the game. So we get the Orders Trooper that's down here on the companion side, and unless we've got like maybe a Bravos Tracer in hand, I think we just snuck a lane win over here on the companion side. Chili in chat, what's up, gents? What's up, Chili? How are you, buddy?
You got to be very careful though,
Oh,
because with
the
5 mana
Ozma.
still to the disposal of a Sigismar, you just gotta be worried about that Sandman. Now with no mana left, a single Sandman can turn this game, right. Can make the difference. So we're gonna hold our heart in prayer for Basira to see if you can pull through.
We also could just drop a Templar here, right? I think the Templar, the Aegis Templar is threes across the board, right? As a three cost. We can play that and tie up the
Yeah,
hero side, and then we'll still have 2 mana
definitely.
depending to just drop the Orders Attorney if we want um, to put
A
ourselves
good
in
position to
a
be in
game winning
at
position.
Sigismar. It is a very good position to be in. However, they do need the right cards, and they don't have a lot of them on hand. And with the time that it is taking, I am assuming they don't have the obvious win here,
The unique
and it's
Ratiskier
gonna
here.
be, well,
At dust, draw a
passes comes
card.
through. All right, they're gonna just be keeping a nice little resource management angle going on here,
Mm-hmm.
drawing a card from the attorney, stopping the advance in on the companion side, advancing themselves, getting some extra juicy stats and another card draw. But now the value of the devastating value that a Sandman could have had is diminished slightly, as you are now in an expedition with only.
Oh man, tough choices here for Basira as well too. Um, because it's kind of one of those. Do you think that you might be able to have both lanes and force a tiebreaker? If so, you kind of want to hold on to, especially that Blade Dancers. They could be absolutely devastating, being able to come and being played in the arena. Or do you think you got it?
Oh,
Oh, okay.
and this does give away some information, right, about the hand. You can expect some low costed cards in hand right here. Fire Ravage, Ishibo Sins, all that shenanigans. Although those 1 2 mana cards that go so well with this, and especially taking when you're taking up arms against an opponent that is in a solo green lane, man, those Syringars are just putting on the hurt
Yeah.
big time.
Yes.
But you're fearful as well because you're against an Orders player, and you care a lot about
Right here, Bandit. You cut out on me there, buddy. See if I can get you back.
that's all right.
All right, there you are. You are back. I want to say that Chili also said in
Woo!
chat, "Welcome to the team, Bandit. Are you stateside or from the motherland?"
Oh man, I'm from across the puddle, as you Americans would say, right?
Gotcha.
We're representing our fellow Dutch players.
Over here in the UK. Welcome, welcome. And he says that we sound great together as well. He wanted to compliment us in chat as well too.
Aw, that is people are being so sweet. I love that.
Oh, oh, what a timely order spy here.
Oh man, how do they always have it? How do they always have it, right?
Mm.
That is the fourth time we have seen the Bravos reserve be interfered with as well as all three Ordis attorneys, two Jack Frost, and now two Ordis spies. Man, that is the pressure that Ordis can put on your resources.
Yes, and I think
And now a token spawner as well, putting pressure on both the lanes, still having a one drop available. There could be two more one drops in hand for all we know, but that is at least one. I would say at least two more tokens that are coming out. This is a lot of raw power being put on the board,
we had to
and
spend 3.
and
Are we looking for an answer
that
as
is
well too?
very
Maybe to draw.
susceptible. That is a very susceptible target to a teamwork trading now as well, or a Sandman.
Yeah, I think we get teamwork training here. I think that might just be game. Um,
Yeah, there are a lot of cards that spell GG right now.
I I know it's just rough. But again, well, Bandit, we just talked about that. Like great player just seems like, man, how do you have the answer every time? And it could just be right developing that patience. Like, okay, I know we're getting later into the game, but I know since Basira doesn't have a ton of card draw, right? We don't have a ton of card advantage. Maybe I just hold on to this card for the right time. This
Oh, it is
Sandman.
absolute devastation. That might just be lights out for Basira. That might be the knockout punch that Sigismar was looking
Mm,
for. With just 4 mana, needing to overcome 5 power. Well, Basira is still active, so a single Aklut could keep them in the game.
and
But man, that is
yeah, and
this
Ackland
is
here was
all or
actually be
nothing for Sigismar.
absolutely devastating now that you think about it, because again, Isamboshi got slept here. He's sitting at 335
Yeah,
as you head into the arena. Uh, and then the Acklet, like I said, we'll just send it to the arena. So if it's here, I had a feeling though that if we did have the Acklet, it'd be falling out of Basira's hands right now. Uh,
right. You would think so, but they have successfully stalled for quite a bit against an opponent with
oh,
more mana. All
Tolarian
right, here
Skater
comes the
here.
final push.
Um, what's the play here? Do, do do we have an answer that we're saying we're
They
going to the Thunderdome?
boosting
Why
up
we
that
boost
does
up
kind of
the
indicate that. Then Basira puts them on 4, advancing them on water. It is a
yeah.
clean play out, minimal resources invested,
Yes.
and on the upside, you cannot be sabotaged if you have nothing in reserve.
All right. So we got a question in chat, Bandit, and I want you to go first here. Alex asks, what hero slash archetype would you build some decks for new players, assuming that starter decks don't exist? I'd like you to take that question first before I give my take now.
Oh man, that is a wonderful question. As our orders player takes his time to select which resources he wants to keep, I think if it is let's introduce some nuance to this question, right? Has
Mhm.
this person played a TCG before? If they've never touched a TCG before, then not scaring them, not intimidating them is the name of the game, because it can be overwhelming if it's all falling out of the sky. And at that point, give them something that feels satisfying to play and feels fulfilling. So then you bring out the Sigismars, then you bring out the Tejas, then you
Yeah.
bring out the Kojos, right?
Yep.
Whatever they want to bring out. However, if they have played before, I love giving them Sierra. I love giving them Traced, because there are familiar mechanics such as Storm, such as more engine building decks that they might enjoy a lot, and I will trust them to not be intimidated by the new mechanics in favor of showing a little bit more of the depth, a little bit more of the creativity that is possible.
Got you. I'm gonna cut you
So
short
it's
there
all
real
about
quick,
knowing who
Bandit.
you're playing.
Uh,
Yes,
just we had the unique Ozma hit the board and immediately get answered with the mana eruption from Basira. um,
that's a big investment at 3 mana as well.
yeah. And all right, go ahead and finish your statement here. We've got players just onesies and twosies here as we're getting a helping hand out in order to give this.
Yeah,
This is
onesies
the
and
most
twosies
buff
as
Ishan Bushi I have ever seen in my life.
yeah, and you just have to be fearful. You just have to be fearful that there is an answer in the hands of this Ordis player. There are so many answers in the Ordis deck. He has 2 cards. They could be anything. Even one of the
I will go
answers.
back to Alex here. If I'm saying your name right, I hope I'm saying your name right. I'd also be the one to recommend Sigismar, Kojo, also Tasia as well. These are all characters you don't have to think about. They instantly get an effect at noon when they're played, and it's just kind of like one less thing. It kind of gives you a buffer as you're learning the mechanics of the game. Just being able to have tokens in hand. Just to reiterate what Bandit said, once you get a comfortable feel for it, if you haven't played TCGs or have played TCGs, definitely recommend Sierra. Sierra's fun. Also, give the
Oh,
Izmir. Occasion's fun as well too. And that is GG's there.
that is all
As
she wrote, man.
Yeah,
The tension was
Blastus.
palpable, and I think I may have been sitting in the splash zone of of the Basira player with the amount of sweating they've been doing. But they blah, blah, blah. They didn't manage to get the win. Wait, let me get a look at
No,
the board state.
Blastus won. It looks like it's reversed, is what it had seen. I think the Basira
Oh,
got
okay. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Uh,
Basira got through at 779 against 655. Yeah,
they
man,
we only
tight,
got a
tight,
few
tight.
games left here.
Oh,
Table 36 is where I'm heading.
I'll meet you there, buddy.
All right, looks like yeah, that's the longest game we still have left in progress as we're trying to figure things out here. Oh man, a
And
Gorang
it's a bit of
mirror
a
here.
cop out answer.
We
Bit
got
of a
some
cop out
US
answer,
left. Look
but
at
it's
the
all
amount of
about knowing.
cards in hand.
Which the table number did you say?
That's insane. 17 cards in hand. 36 be in
36.
progress.
Yep, yep, yep.
TCA Trotar,
Oh
I
my
think
lord, is that
Mystical
even legal?
Mirage. Where we're at. It sure is, buddy. Look at how
Oh my
look
god,
at
that's
the screen.
Silas.
Look at this.
That Silas has a 13 pack.
Uh,
I heard about 6 packs and 7 packs, but a 13 pack. Holy moly.
this is wild. This is absolutely wild.
Oh
Okay,
my
so
god, we're
Alex
not
said, all
even.
right, thanks. I'm a little hesitant starter decks without changes as we are 2+2 expansions deep. Also, Alex, if you have access to BGA, if you change the settings, you can change it to where it has whispers from the main starter deck, or actually just go to the alter.gg website and it has the starter decks that's been updated from Whispers of the Mage. You can pull from those there. And that way, that'll be the most recent up to date starter decks that you can take to your locals as well, too. Room
Yeah,
Folk says, I've
it's
been playing Tasia recently, but haven't had the biggest success. Drop below 200 elo. Now I know Cole's struggle. Room Folk and Cole, I promise you guys, like when I get my reveals, it's gonna be like this. This was something that's needed. I don't know if it's gonna be a complete game breaker or game changer, but it definitely solves an issue uh, that Muna has had for since the inception of the game. What's going on here, Bandit? I was going through chat, helping chat out, and I'm like, what's going on here?
um it feels like crimes against humanity as as Gulrang takes it up against a coughing baby. I mean, it's first of all, it's crazy that we have had a game go overtime with one of the players. Meanwhile,
Mhm.
this game has a player that has advanced 3 times, and they're only behind 1 step. Oh, I mean, how many more cards do you need at this point?
All right, Bandit, I'm gonna have you. I'm gonna leave it on stream here. I've got to run, go to the front door real quick. Uh,
Yeah, go for it.
my wife there. So, but you've got
Finally,
everything
we
still
finally
on
get to
screen.
gossip a little bit. Draw commons and moon. Yeah, I've been seeing more cards. It is a tricky mechanic to balance, right? I think it's already magnificent that Muna has, or Altered in general has the ability to draw half a card, which is fine. But I mean, Muna already has like one of the best cards in the game, right? With Floral 10, just one mana, a little resupply, a little dinky little after you. I mean, it wasn't too long ago that Muna was putting on some interesting results as well, right? But hey, anything that can get them off the anchor spam linear gameplay is a blessing for me. Now, let's take a look at this little Atlas Chinook that has been put out and read it to you. If you control three or more characters, tokens you control are gigantic. Well, they'll definitely need that now. And when it leaves the expedition zone, if you control true or landmarks, create an Ordis recruit in target expedition. Now, pumping out 2/2/2s that are gigantic might just be the answer that our French representative is looking for. They'll have to keep up the pressure right now, already ahead in one of the expeditions and ahead in the second one. That is, it is, the draw just never ends. When another character joins an expedition, if you control one or more landmarks, draw a card. That is what that Silas says. 5 mana, 2/2/2. And then it says you may sacrifice a character or permanent. If you do, I gain 1 boost per card in hand. So when he played it, he sacrificed a landmark or a character, and it gained already a lot of boost. And he will be able to sleep it once more. Oi, 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 oi. That is just an absolutely disgusting position to be in. And he still can make 2 more 1/1/1s at the very least with just the field reinforcements coming through. Now, event in my area, and I'm taking hostage from friends. I've already played at least once. Alkes, yeah. I think when introducing new players, it's all about just finding the right environment, right? You don't want to be dropping them feet first into the local tournament crushers, right? You can give them a bit of a deep dive, sure, if they're a little more experienced, but it's all about having an environment where they can just enjoy what the game has to offer, where they can take it all in. Now, oh, another conscription. It's absolutely devastation. Look at that board of our top player right here, Mystical
All right,
Mirage.
I
He,
have
he
made
he
it
has a
back.
he has a
We're still at
wonderful board.
19 in hand here. Holy cow!
Welcome
Yeah,
back.
just had to
Um,
help my wife with a
a
grocery
wonderful
run
board
here.
for Mirage. However, it doesn't matter. It's like, how is that board not even winning a single expedition this day? Is an outright crime. I'll be very honest.
I'll say yes. Usually 13s across the board will net you a 2-0 most days.
Yeah,
However, the Gorang
today
army
is
just
not that day.
the amount of cards in hand is just absolutely absurd.
Yeah, and every time that they have a character join his expedition, they
And we
draw a
still
card.
have a
How
card
does he draw?
left
How
in
does
the
he juggle
deck.
those cards then? Well, these tokens are gigantic, so no matter where
Yeah.
they are entering, they will be coming back. And with the amount of cards that he is drawing, he is just drawing his uniques back again. It is the only place where you can't draw a card again is just when it's in your hand.
A unique Gibble. Yep, the tokens are getting gigantic. And then that's what I was talking about. Like we just talked about this too, man. I feel like we're speaking everything into existence here. There are some very good Ordis uniques. Yes, they require, landmarks, but man, are they just incredible effects.
Yeah, for 5 mana, whilst being a 5/4 himself. And look, he just drew the Silas again.
Yeah.
Now he can sacrifice his landmark and make a what is it?
Did we just concede?
A 21
Oh,
21 21.
out of time.
Yeah,
So Trotar won, which they were set up to win anyway. Man, what a goal rank deck, right?
yeah, deserved. And I mean, impressive that even though you have very, very long turns, you are still up in time over your opponent by 2 minutes. So not only a very unique deck with a very cheesy play style, but having it down to a T that you can you can do it swiftly. That is the sign of someone that's talented.
Uh, Bandit, grab a table for me. I'll let you pick this round. Our first table here.
Ooh. Well, let me have a look. Let me have a look if there's
They're
which ones we're
loading up
still
right
playing.
now. So
Oh, it's a new round. Let me
yep.
see if I see any interesting players. All right, let's go with lucky number 13, shall we?
Table 13 it is. I will meet you there. Hey, one of my favorite players that I enjoy seeing here, all of the marbles. An incredible
Oh,
player.
I hope he's playing the Venka. I hope he's playing the Venka. Man, for all the people who enjoy playing Fen, watch this guy. He plays Navenka the way your Fen could never run it. It is wonderful. I love what he brings to the table. As I am struggling to get onto the table,
It's just they're
we're just
probably
gonna
like
let
in
that
the
sit
middle of
for a
trying to
bit.
select their decks. So I'm gonna keep
Let's just
refreshing
give that a
here.
moment.
I'm gonna switch
Now,
the
I
screen
don't want to give away
so
too
they pop
much,
in. Oh, there we go. Mm.
but the way all the marbles, I've played against him personally, and let me have a look. There is a Navenka at this table, but it's not all of the marbles. He seems to have been rocking up with Atsari. Now,
Oh man,
this
I am
is
definitely curious to
a
see.
tricky matchup because Lyra has a lot of nasty, kind of in a similar way Orders has, where they can really cut through with the scalpel and make life miserable. So, despite not being happy to see the Twinkle Twinkle, he might be a little happier to see it this early in the game.
Are we starting off with a Swift Gin? Turn one. Get an immediately draw
Hell
effect
yeah.
from Atsari here.
Now, I am very curious, Momo.
Hmm?
Atsari, are we taking away counters? Yes or no? What is your preference?
You said taking away counters.
Yeah, taking away counters from your own hero. Is that a viable strategy in your opinion? Yes or no? Or is it a trap that looks nice and juicy but will not get you closer to winning the game?
It could be a trap if you're talking about like taking tokens away from your character. Because you're just going to have to navigate because like the deal with Atsari, and I understand that he did just win a qualifier, but Atsari has what we call in TCGs deck building cost. And just what that means is that if you're wanting to get the benefit out of your hero, you know, you're playing as many you're playing as many high cost characters that you can. Actually, the scout keyword that got introduced in Whispers from the Maze essentially turned Atsari from borderline unplayable to being one of the best heroes in the expansion. So I had seen some players just navigate this beautifully. Seem like they're able to trigger Atsari's draw like every turn or every other turn. Then on the other hand, you know, we had with Trace, you know, I feel like Trace is very underwhelming until they get those 5 counters, and then that's when it's like off to the races.
Yes. However, I'm gonna offer my insight on this
Uh huh.
because I do think I have a fun little insight on this. I think Atsari is by definition weird as a hero
Mm-hmm.
because drawing cards is great. Loves drawing cards. However, when you are playing in the archetype of Atsari, you are already playing a lot of high costed creatures. Now it did shake up a bit with the scout mechanic introduced. Very much, very true. However, as another Swift Jin is popping out. Um, however, because you are playing more high costed creatures, you are already playing more card efficient than your opponent. And I feel like card advantage, because playing a more expensive card is kind of like drawing cards because you're only maybe playing 1 or 2 cards a day, while your opponent might be playing 3 to 5 cards a day.
Mm-hmm.
You see where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
So having even more card draw on that is kind of like a hat on a hat. So before the Whispers of the Maze was released, I was playing ramp on just Kojo and just snooping 1 or 2 expeditions away. I was like, yeah, I don't care about the card draw. I
Hmm.
have Haven Seringar. That is, I would usually play some uniques to either ramp or draw.
Oh
As ooh a little,
no.
it's fine. He has Martingale to the rescue.
Okay.
It's not as much gambling with loaded dice.
Yeah. I I
Now
was just like, oh wait,
punishing
I always have
the
to check. I can't
inactivity
tell
of
you
Atari.
how many Navenka games I watch, and I just like I see a one, it's just like, oh no, I was just like, oh wait, it wasn't for Navenka. So,
Man,
however,
it
though,
is
and this is the other thing that we're talking about too, Bandit. We just got too old with that side. Sometimes that just happens happens with this character. Um, and I don't know. I just don't know. It's just weird because we see Bravos as a faction like doesn't have access to a lot of card advantage, right? Unless you're like have something to cheat resupply and you're playing stuff out of your reserve.
Uh,
But, but as we see
I mean,
Atsari here, uh performs well almost always now, and he's the only hero with access to draw on his face. So like there's I don't know, there's something there. It's just like you said, it's
I'm
weird.
actually gonna give some pushback on that. I think Bravos has great ways for card advantage. Orders, spies, the Haven Seringars. They have even more sabotage, which is also a form of card advantage,
True,
right?
true.
Me drawing more cards than you is not just card advantage. Taking away cards from you also means I kind of have more cards than you. Not. I mean, you are aware, but for people watching as well.
Yeah.
So I hear where you're coming from, but I will say I think Bravos has a lot of interesting ways to be putting pressure on your opponent's resource.
Got an
Let's
anchor
take
in
a
on
look at
this
the Shaniqua.
martingale here. Did we just raw play that Swift Gen?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
He is not afraid of the potential extra boosts that might be landing on this Atsari, especially with an empty reserve.
No.
And that is that is just one of the most satisfying way to play this game, right? Falling behind early and then clawing back the game as it progresses. Atsari extremely well equipped to be pursuing such
Hello.
a strategy.
This
And
Alice
this
is
might be the
beautiful.
first day that we're not going 2-0.
I think I've seen an Alice unique under Lyra before. It is absolutely incredible. It's a beautiful card.
Is It is nice. I prefer to compliment her character.
Hmm.
I think she's very intelligent and has. I'm just messing with you.
Roomfolk, Roomfolk in chat says, "Why does Marble have triple ramp uniques?" LOL. It's marbles, man. Like, there's a reason why they're playing Atsari here. Like, I feel like if Marbles is not playing the Venka, that means that there is a set of uniques they absolutely freaking love, and that they're going to try to have on display here.
Yeah. All right. Right. Let's make the little transition on that are absolutely so degenerated that they might be better than whatever is out there on his previous decks.
Are we just raw played a Kybera turn one?
Dude, nobody does it like this man. You just don't. I mean, that is just such a baller move to just drop that on your table. It is really kind of like throwing it in your opponent's face, go deal with it.
Right.
And with already a single beauty sleep down, the answers are getting less and less and less. Also, it's tough a billion, so good luck with that.
And then sometimes in card games, right, you just have to put it something down and tell your opponent, have the answer with it. Have the answer. If you know you got the answer, this is just easy. This light
Yeah,
work for me.
dude, watch them pull out Anubis.
Right. Like, all right, I've got your answer right here, buddy.
Man, I'm gonna say it. Anubis is underplayed in Ordis. Absolutely masterful card with all the Basiras coming up, with all the Atsari seeing play against Muna. It does great. It's just only in the mirror and against the Venkas where it kind of struggles.
Hmm.
I'm giving away the tech here for free, guys.
Right.
That's all I'm saying. That is
All right. Yeah, we're definitely. I am glad we have crossed paths because I too have said the same thing. But again, I'm a Lindway player, so I
yes,
understand the value of sacrificing, and like anything that like
at the right
increases.
time. Free discard.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, that was me getting excited.
Yeah, you're good. You are good. We love the passion exuding for this game. We love people to listen to this cast and want to be involved. Cole said, "Please stop, Bandit. Don't tell them."
Yes, it's too late. Maybe I should have waited before I participate myself in the qualifier, but nah, man, it is, and that's kind of what I love. The spirit is really all about sharing the knowledge. is
Right.
all about evolving together and becoming better at the game together.
Well, and that's
And the only way we do that is by sharing insight with
and
people.
that's the beauty too, because I will tell you, on my podcast, I had got Justin Parnell, which everybody that knows the organized play manager for North America. I had him on. I was just like, "What card do you think that's underplayed?" And he said it was hooked. He's just like, "Not enough people are playing hooked." Now here we are, 2 expansions later, and it is now a staple in the decks that can play
Yeah,
it. And now here we are again talking about with Anubis. And now that we're having answers where sending somebody's card to reserve, it feels bad. Like it's a soft control option, unless of course they have fleeting. But you slapping an Anubis out and just say straight up, "Hey, I'll just sacrifice one of my tokens, whatever." But if you have to get rid of one of your
yeah.
multi-stated characters, that is an absolutely devastating change of play that could happen.
And on top of that, if you play it as a first player, that is already like if you play Anubis while you're first, doesn't happen too often. I'll be very honest. That is kind of sad. But having to play into an Anubis, knowing that whatever card you're going to play, you're going to have to sacrifice, just is absolutely demoralizing to play
Mm.
against. Especially in a game where resources are as valuable as they are in Altered. I think there are very few games where cards are more valuable than in Altered.
I tell you the
Unless you're the Gorang player from 5 minutes ago that had a bajillion.
right that you just said. Excuse me, what? It can't do what? The biggest adjustment I had to make to this game, and I love the challenge. We're playing the Chimera again. The biggest challenge that I loved with this game was there's no mulligans, and I realized I have to resource half of my hand. It made like resourcing decisions extremely tough, and actually is an aspect of a game that you need to master in order to become a better player.
Definitely. And I think there are so many options and opportunities for players to be creative in deck building.
Yeah. Do
The
you
here, you know, it is easy to stare at 39 cards and look at the results and get a deck like that, but the meta is so alive, and with all the new cards being added, I think if we were to play for another year with just these cards, we would probably have like 2 3 more metas as answers get discovered, as more revealing playstyles are seeing more attention as well, right? And that is what I absolutely adore about it. You can be the difference maker. You can innovate, you can experiment and add something that is truly unique to you.
right? And then that's the other thing too. Again, Equinox is doing an amazing job with this game. One of the biggest thing as a experienced veteran TCG player, we get 4 months with a set. That's plenty of time for me to be able to experiment with all the cards in the set, as opposed to every like 2 and sometimes 3 months. Like that's an issue that I had with Pokemon for the longest. Just like I feel like I didn't get a chance to fully explore the set before the next one comes. And the other unique thing about Altered that I love is we're not getting new characters until set 4. So we had a chance to be able to experiment with the same characters, but we see what happens with just cards from each set, how that completely can change how you build these heroes out.
Yeah, and to me that is that there is just such an inherent beauty to that. Where, let's be real here, it is not just we had the chance, we were forced. We were forced to give heroes like Atsari a second chance and to reevaluate
Mhm.
what it meant to make an Atsari deck. And I think for Nevenka is going through that currently, where some players have taken it upon themselves to be like, wait, this is not a gambling deck. This is just a
Mhm.
control deck with extra steps.
Yep.
It juggles way more consistently than a Fen does. And I just love seeing that type of experience, that
It's
kind of
a prime hunger play.
discovery
Yep.
being made in real time.
Yeah, Yarin knew it as well too. We knew that the hunger was coming. This was just a prime setup hunger play. As Marbles here is just doing the work. It was seen in chat.
Yeah.
Yarn already said GG, and Marble's just like, yeah, you're right. The hunger was coming.
You can I mean it's this and winter that is guaranteed to come.
I would tell you all, chat as well, use BGA as a resource. If you're looking to get better, I can't tell you how many times I've gone back to these tournaments And I've gone back and watched players like all the marbles and just seeing like, trying to pick out the decision trees because you can pick the point of view when you go back and watch these games so you can see, what cards they're deciding to mana, how they're deciding what's in hand to be able to play what's coming out next and things like that. And you begin to pick up these little like bits and pieces of becoming a better player. Sure, you don't have the full context of how the deck works, but just being able to review these games, there are just certain things that you can pick up on and certainly improve your game.
Yeah, and you can just look at the ranked map and pick and go to 39 cards and be like, all right, let's see who is the best or who won a tournament or finished really high with the hero that I like. Let's see how they play. And that is just such a kind of like a unique insight that not a lot of other games that I've played at least have given that opportunity to me. Make use of that,
Uh,
and let that be an inspiration. Don't be net decking, but let it inspire you.
Table 9, Bandit. We're at table
Nine.
9.
On my way.
Yeah, and again, I do want to iterate this. I do have an episode of this on my podcast on the YouTube channel. Please understand, as you're like starting off new or switching from being casual to competitive, it is okay to net deck because let's be honest, while you're first starting off that journey, you may not understand what makes a good deck or why a deck is good until you start playing it. And then what happens is that's when you can start peeling back those layers and start trying to get an understanding of what makes the deck good. So we got our first Trace appearance here on stream. Bandit.
Yeah, Trace introducing himself, and I think that is where we here. That is also kind of what are you trying to get out of the game, right? I had a very much kind of like meta avoidant attitude, being like, oh no, it's kind of a crutch to always just be playing the Sigismars, and I kind of had an attitude adjustment myself like that, where I had to be like, no, what am I playing for right now? Am I, do I want to play the game to its max, right? Push it to the absolute limit, or do I want to be unique and different in that way? And I think both are fine. I mean, whatever gives you most joy, you should play it like that. But the journey that I went on because of that, I think was very, very valuable because it really made me evaluate cards differently.
Mm-hmm.
Because I had to figure out a lot of lessons myself by doing it,
Yep.
and that is very heavily dependent on how some people learn, and just so take it with as many scoops of salt as you need.
Right.
But keep account, like the journey you can make through it can be enjoyable, if not as rewarding.
The hunger coming
As we
through
see
and just
another
absolutely devastating the board here, which is so bad for Trace as a character that massively depends upon their reserve in order to get their value going.
stacked up though, and no fleeting, so only going probably 1-1 today. Still has trace available as well. I mean, the setup kind of hurts, especially because tomorrow the hunger will come out as a big old, big old satiated spirit.
Yes.
Um, However, there are workarounds for the trace here. Now, getting rid of it is a little tricky, but there are ways to go around it. Can he set up in time though? That's the question now.
Like the Gibble and Reserve is we get the Grims. One of my favorite cards to be introduced into the current pool of standard. Man, just such a
Oh
great
man,
card. Talk
and
about it
the next set,
uplifted the entire faction. This card here, the rare
the
version of this
next set, it's just gonna go bananas.
card.
All right, hey, this will be very interesting. Why do people play it rare?
Oh,
Because for people not in the know, the common one is a 1/2/2 that can get rid of permanents up to cost 3 or 2.
huh? I think it's might be 3. See if I can get it pulled up here.
I think it is 3. And the rare makes a change. It can now discard permanent with hand cost 5 or less, which was very
5.
important
Yes.
against Afanas, who was spamming Nilon, which is a 4-costed permanent that really messes with the plans that a Trace has.
Yeah.
However, with that out of the meta, I still see people playing it as a rare, and I could, explain it to me. Explain it to me.
Okay. So
I would
first
love
we
to hear
talk
your opinion
about
on that.
the as we're waiting for our players to decide here. Okay, so the rare version, again, we talked about it. It's already on curve stat wise, right? It's a 2 cost card that is producing 2 across the board. Um, again, it's probably the earliest. There's no other. If you look at the entire card pool, I don't think there's any other card in the game that you can discard a permanent 5 or less for the cost of 2 mana. So it's extremely, extremely mana efficient, especially helping early on against sometimes those monolith plays that come out, or the we talked about it, the Willem tree as well too. And then it also combos very well with early bug out bags. And this is how Axiom players normally, with depending on permanents, kind of got to stall out the early game and then you'll get the late game going. With the Grims, you can sacrifice, because remember, Expedition gear, there are still permanents. So you can sacrifice the bug out bag, and all of a sudden you got, anywhere between 2 to 3 brass bug tokens. And like, this is the issue that I've been having with Sierra.
I
The Grims and the bug out bag combo is just absolutely devastating.
It is good, but I don't need the rare for that. Why do I want it as a rare in my deck? Because what are we hitting? Nilam, but Afanas is not really seeing play, and Akesha is, as
Mhm.
far as I know, not at the highest level of play, not either playing Nilam or not seeing the results that we saw with it before. So, what are some targets that you're looking out for? Is it purely for the Gorang matchup that is so tough?
It could be the Gorang matchup with the Mescatat, because that type of cards, when you're going against other tokens, going against other token generator decks like Gorang, the fact that Gorang boosts all of theirs means you're not going to win that unless you have the Brass Bug High Bow. So being able to stall out getting their pieces set up is kind of that big one. It just gives you the option to. It's primarily what the Rare Grims does for you. Just being able to have
Boo! As
the answer.
Basira is being very rude as they're making a 7/7 gigantic. However, they will be looking to go for one, as
Yeah.
just a
Uh,
single 1/1/1 will make the difference here.
oh
Now,
yeah, but yeah, man,
here for
it's in the
people
deck.
that are,
It has a
yeah,
potential answer. Is what it's for. It's to have the potential, as opposed to,
mm,
man, I wish I had the rare. I could have dealt with this sooner.
yeah, it is, yeah, and I think that the rare slots in Traced, maybe not as contested as in some other decks, so you have some room to splash with, some cards that might not be always used to their full potential. Now, we were talking earlier about people maybe getting into slightly more competitive play. I think
Hmm.
if you are looking to get into a more competitive mindset, you should be playing Traced. Mostly because it is such a budget friendly
Yes,
hero
yes,
to
it is. Hmm.
because there are a lot of just, lower ish level uniques that will just get cards in reserve. Yeah, they're not the Anansis that are bombs on themselves, but just cards that will get your engine going, get you to 5 stacks, run really, really quickly, and later on in the game, keeping your reserve top from your hand. I think, like, for maybe, I think when I ran Trace, I spent what, maybe $30 on uniques and got some pretty decent results with that.
Yeah, I would
So
I would say
yeah,
without
definitely.
uniques, I think I priced one out. Without my uniques, I spent like $9 on my trace deck.
Yeah, that on itself, and it forces you to look at this. It just really forces you to manage your reserve really, really well. And now I will say every hero should be doing that, right? Especially if you
Right.
want to break into a more results based. If you want to evolve as a player, it's all about the resources. However, Trace really introduces that and makes it the central vocal point of what you want to be focusing on. Now, as we see a little pattern starting to form as we are chaining resupplies into resupplies into resupplies.
Yeah, and that's the other thing I like about Trace too. It teaches you early on about your decision trees, as you constantly have to make a decision. Okay, what should be in reserve that's now going to be public knowledge to my opponent, and what can I keep in hand as kind of, um, a bomb or my last chance, so to speak. Here, another thing that I wanted to point out too, the other reason that the rare Grim probably sees so much play too as well, Bandit, is we don't have sideboards in this game. I think that
Hmm.
if they were to ever introduce sideboards, I
True.
think, yeah, people will probably switch to playing the commons, because then you can slide in.
Oh,
So, oh, Repotter Otter's there.
here we go.
Yep.
Here we go. And now this is what I call resupplying, baby. Now, for each resupply, we will be getting a payoff, and it will be glorious as a second unique has introduced itself into the reserve of our Axiom player that, well, I'm sure has very nice rules text. It does. And I'm curious, will he discard it instead or just pay the 1 mana? I mean, for 1 mana, that seems like a wicked good deal.
Yeah, I'm curious as well too. I feel like either way, it's a win-win.
And he still has the trace ability ready as well. So he will be putting more cards in reserve if need be.
Yeah, no caster
So
cams
this,
today. My CPU cannot handle it. So I've got new equipment. It's just my video card I ordered from overseas, and getting stuff from overseas to stateside has been it's been a chore to say the least. So
yeah, but I've done up my hair today, as you can see in my picture. So you can look at that and and enjoy our natural beauty like that.
All right. All right. So yeah. So that way, all the other components I have, I'm ready to go. So that way I can keep um have caster cams every time that I am hosting. But for now, still just keeping the gameplay. Want to make sure that everything is smooth so that way we can continue having these streams out. Because I love originally we had a hard time, finding a consistent host for these Mondays here. Then I wind up being able to switch my work schedule to overnights, which now makes me available for European friendly time stuff, which is why we are here where we are at now. Gives our directors a bit of a break, Blue and Cole, and actually get a chance to kind of just watch
Hey,
the sit back stuff instead of
I'll
having to
be
host everything.
I'll be very honest. If I mean I'm liking the way this is going, and my Mondays are completely open. I'm in Europe. I'm yeah. I'm hoping to put a lot more of my beautiful vocals on this. And hey, I'm sure we can set up a host from my side.
Oh man, you hear that, Cole? If he's still in chat, or if he's going to get ready for his nappy nap time, we'll see. We'll find out here. As we got the
No,
Repotter
I think
Otter
he has to
back from reserve
physically
here.
recover from this news.
We've got
And
three
this is
uniques on the
just
board here.
yeah. We it's. I'll be very honest. It is the trace that kind of has this locked and loaded. I will say. Depending on the resupply triggers that he's able to hit out of the Ouroboros, I'm gonna say it is gonna be quite tricky for our good friend here to get more going. Now, I will say there was a Kilon cylinder drop
Yeah,
for 1 mana, which is kind of a just showing. All right, you just I want to see where you will be committing some of that mana you still have left before I pop off, as they say.
yeah. I
And with 3 mana invested, this is definitely going to be a big commitment.
It's wild to me that I just gave a character 3 boosts and I am still only tying up the expedition.
Yeah, and not even close to advancing themselves. And I have to push it a little further. Now, interesting that they are deciding to split the boost here instead of putting it on Chiron, so they're at least threatening an advance themselves. And with the hooked coming in, it might be going from bad to worse. Cannot cast it, of course, so that is going to be a little awkward. And
Yeah.
then this might be the last little bug we see, unless they can get a little 1 mana resupply going for themselves.
Oh, hey, look, there's a Keylon counter there. Oh, Goten's passed. I thought we were about to hit out the find a way to get Frankenstein in reserve and then trigger another resupply, but
We're
looks like
still.
that's not the case here.
Ooh, did they just pass as well?
Yeah, they
I think they
tapped in to
did,
go
yeah,
ahead and get
because they
cylinders.
because they didn't play a card, of course, and that might have been the opening they were
Duel of
looking for.
Grit.
Oy, but that is not enough to advance over
Oh,
there.
Trace got it.
Just enough to stab him. That will be it. And man, if he only put that boost on his Chiron, right, then he
Yeah,
would be threatening the advance over there. Could have duked it out in the arena without the trace having
anything,
I call
honestly.
that access to those uniques. Yeah, very very close, and that is the margin of error that is sometimes allowed in Altered. Misplacing a single boost can cost you the game when you are matched up against a very very well educated opponent. I think we can
Right.
say.
And then that's the other thing that always happens well too. Experiences like these, which we encourage you, if you don't play in the Monday and the Wednesday night Wednesday leagues here, do it. It's absolutely free. You will get a ton of reps against some
Honestly,
of the
what are you
best
doing?
players that our game has to offer. Table
The
25 is
only
where we're heading to.
reason
Looks like we still got a good game in progress there, Bandit.
the only reason to not be playing in the AWOL tournaments is to look at the streams. That is the only excuse that I will accept.
Yeah. So table 25 is where I'm moving to. Looks like the game's about 60% of the way done.
Only games that me and
Gorang
Mama
and
are casting,
Traced.
right? Like the other ones you can maybe skip on.
All
Oh,
right. Okay,
mother.
I got everything tied up there. Yep, Gorang and Traced. We got going on here. Hmm.
And there you have it. That is why you play.
I don't know
That
what
is
to
why
make of
you
this
play.
game.
This is why you should play Rare Gremlins, no? For this exact matchup.
Point-
Though it also kind of shows. I mean, yeah, the getting rid of the message that sure, but with the distances being as they are, I think the consistent payoff of the orders carrier here, right, where
yeah,
the double up in the companion action, they're doing the same thing right now. But for all we know, the expeditions could have been swapped up, and it was the hero expedition of the ghoul rank that would have been behind. And then you're suddenly, putting down the token split, and then it
yeah.
would have been
Um,
a little bit different.
I'm going to go as far as to say, and I don't even think it's a hot take, but I feel like the Mescatat for Gorang is what Baba's Isba is for Linway. If you get that off the board, it's significantly a much more uphill climb for the character to be able to,
Yeah,
figure out stuff on a
definitely.
day-to-day basis. That has primarily been like what I've been working on with my Linway deck that I've literally been playing for, yeah, since inception, since base set. Um, is that I've just been crafting the deck to be where, okay, if I don't see a Baba's Isba in the first 3 days, or if I don't see it at all, can I still have myself in a position to win? And I do say I feel like I am certainly getting closer with that. Um, it's just, of course, it
Think.
made the deck a little weaker on some other ends for the late game, but
Mm.
I'm okay with that.
But yeah, to me, I mean, here's the thing, right? You're not always gonna play a late game, but you're always every game I've played an early game, and that is the exact reason why you see them play Conjuring Seals, right? To dig towards those messic that's towards those other landmarks that can really maximize the utilization of those token mechanics that Gurang wants to spam so much later on in the game.
Trace, though, it kind of feels kind of bad. Like I've always felt like Keelan Cylinder just feels bad when you're stacked up against Gorang because Gorang's just giving all the tokens boosted. So it's like you're just fighting that much harder, um, just to try to
It
get
is,
over the
but
hump there.
it is another target for your Frankenstein, right? In this case, if you were like playing another non-landmark rare for it, the Frankensteins would have been even more useless than they are,
Yeah,
right? It's a nice little solid after you, and in a lot of other matchups, having the threat of just a single boost after someone has already passed away their turn, their day, can mean it's a guaranteed Navenka hit. I
yeah.
mean, that is.
Oh, we are being risky here. If I say it should be out of time. Yeah, I was gonna say we're being
Yeah,
risky here, not playing that rare Grims and getting popping that Mescatat there. But yeah, as I assume that our trace player was like 3 minutes over time. So that is the
yeah.
case. Hop back over here, see if we're still got anything around or if we're moving on to the next round. We are going to four. Let's do two and two. I'll let you pick the table again. And then I'll do
Oh,
5 and 6.
you
So we
are
do
too
1, 2,
kind.
you get 3, 4, I do 5, 6.
Wait, could you repeat that to me, please?
All right.
Did you hear me, Melba?
Yep, I can hear you. You're good. You're still there.
All right. What did you ask of me exactly? I'm sorry.
Ask you. Go ahead and pick a table out for us. We're in a new round.
All right. All right. Let's see if we can have some interest. Let's see some interesting names right now. We have maybe a player we've seen before. Ooh, Glacias has actually has fought their way to table 1. Let's zoom in on that, shall we? Because I'm guessing the tables are ordered, right? Or are
Yeah.
they not?
Yeah,
See,
because I can't
lovely.
remember if we
Yeah,
started
because
with Glacius or if it was one of those that we got to after, um, while the
this
game
was
was in
our
progress
Basira
after we finished
player
the
that
first one.
squeaked out a win against Sigismar.
Might have
My
been. All
memory
right, we were
serves me.
waiting for
Yeah.
them to get their decks picked. I said I
I
don't
think
remember if I
it's
picked them or not, so we'll see.
who cares? If as long as we get
Either
to
way,
see a
I do
quality game,
like.
I'm a happy camper. Oh,
I'm
you're
with you too.
breaking
I
up for
like
me a
using the
little bit
last
there.
couple of rounds to start looking for those winning in games there. All right, am I better now? All right, looks like they're still selecting here.
All
Let
right,
me just swap the screens until that's ready to go.
this
There
is
we
on
go.
me, guys. I selected a bad table. I'm sorry.
Yes, they're decks. Okay, I've got loading game art, so that means that we should be ready to get some gameplay going here now.
Wait. Wait. And it's another Ghoul rank. Man, that is, I mean, we only have seen so many matches, right? But that is, I think that might be like the 6th Ghoul rank we're seeing or something. Oh, man. And that, to be putting out,
Yeah, I thought this game though it's easy. Defenders immediately.
yeah, that is a choice. And because they're out of mana, this will just be a 1-for-0 in favor of. Ooh, man, that makes you kind of wonder about the starting hand that this Gorang might have had, right?
Right. I'll say if it wasn't for Tiny Jen having that too, the defender would have worked and everything would have been stalled out day one.
Well, I mean, there was a Fire Rabbit that could have another boost, right?
Oh yeah, it could have been. It could have
I
played it
will say
again, but being able to
overcoming
hold
a
it
2-2-2 on
so
day
critical.
1 is not the feat that that Malmo currently is making out to be. No, but that is kind of it kind of shows the desperation on the side of Goreng, where you have to invest these more valuable cards later on in the game for your early game instead of hanging on to them. I think, for instance, just playing the Aegis Templar outright as a 2-3, right? Definite good
Yeah.
play on day 1. Yeah, you're a first player, so you
Yeah.
are susceptible to go in maybe 1-0 or 2-1 or even 2-0 if you're really unlucky, right?
Yeah.
But
It
you
just
are
it
saving a
feels
lot of
bad,
valuable
especially when you had
resources.
those late game stuff that's coming through. Like for example, I play a copy of the Rare Kraken in my Linway deck. Like
Oh,
it
beautiful.
hurts my
Beautiful turn.
soul when I see that in my opening hand. And I'm like, oh man, I hope this doesn't go to a late game because
Yeah. No,
Kraken has won
that
me
is
so
good.
many games. So many games.
But by the way, a little late to ask, but I can refer to you as he him or
What's up?
little pronoun check, just he him, that's fine.
Oh yeah. That's cool. Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, totally cool. Love
Yep.
that.
We are
Probably yeah,
kosher as
I
a
mean it only took me 2 hours.
yeah, you're quite all right.
Hey, better late than never, no?
Yeah.
All right, so not a wonderful day 1.
No.
However, wonderful day 2.
Yeah. Yep. And this is so if everybody who's watching, who's again maybe looking at thinking about playing these decks that are permanents, this is kind of what we talk about. You're going to give up some ground in the early game, but being able to set up your pieces can almost kind of get the ball rolling for you for your late game. So that's those kind of concessions that you have to make when you make these decks. Those Sierra decks, these Gorang decks, any decks that are depending upon permanence permanent landmarks. This is kind of what you do. You just try to stall out until you can get your stuff rolling, and then you can just completely take over the game as you're heading into those later like day 6 and up from there.
Yeah, exactly. And falling behind is just kind of in according to plan for Gorang, right? I think falling behind for Atsari hurts a little bit more, just a little bit, because a lot of the tools that Gorang works with are actually quite dependent on being tied or being behind, right?
Yep. Point in case. This Order's attorney
Yeah,
is going to
no,
tell me if I don't advance, I get to draw a card.
and remind me, drawing cards. Do we like drawing cards in
As we have seen with gold rings, yes.
Yeah, it's like crack. It is. It is just that good.
Gus has popped up in chat. Gus the Bus. What's up, buddy? Glad to see that you're here on stream. You want to shout out? We are at currently 31 concurrent viewers. Thank you all for tuning in and rocking with us here on
Oh,
this
really?
lovely
Lovely.
AWOL Monday. Um, who knows how many people have like popped in and out, but I'm sure it's been quite a bit. Mondays have been very popular here as of not even as of late. This seems like it's always been popular.
Yeah, I mean, and that is kind of, when you can't play the tournament because it's fully filled up, what's the next best thing? Is watching the tournament. You still get to be a part of the action. You get to put a little thermometer into the meta, just a little checkup, see if it's still working all right.
That is one of the
And
most impressive uniques I have seen. A spirit wielder. Holy cow! Look at that card.
let
It's
me have that is, isn't it?
um, its
And its
effect is nice
and
too,
its
but the
effects
art
are
is
not too
incredible.
shabby either. Yeah,
Yeah, there are two when
you
played
know,
effects. I gain one boost per
the whole
boosted character
package.
you control, and then if you control a feeding character, draw a card. Which means you're probably popping off these when played abilities every time you play this character.
Yeah, and let's be real here, right? Usually the cost of drawing cards or denying cards from your opponent is a weaker creature. But if you can compensate that by, just the sheer amount of boosted creatures that are out on the field, that is just an absolute joy now, isn't it? Now, Gulrang, you have been managing the game relatively fine so far, right?
hmm
Even after all that, you are only behind 2 steps. And the most common answer is just overloading. The most common answer into Gulrang is to overload on one expedition, so you neutralize at least half of the effect that the Messextet brings onto the battlefield.
Yes.
But as it currently is looking, you're doing kind of fine drawing the cards with the attorney, keeping up in tempo a little bit. Being two behind is definitely manageable for the Gulrang. Not a bad place to be in.
Yeah, I think Basira, our Basira player here, has to start applying some pressure here soon. Um, because again, we're starting to get into this day 4. I normally say with these late game decks, late game feels to be like day 6, day 7, unless you have a way to ramp mana up earlier than that. And that's when they're kind of starting to take control, as we know with Gorang. Once they hit that magic number
But look at this setup.
8, that
Look at this setup again. They're setting
yeah,
themselves up perfectly for another spirit wielder with 2 boosted creatures. Basira providing the second boost for Chiron. They have a fleeting character in Chiron to get that extra card for themselves, and that is a decent amount of power as well that they're going to be putting out on the board. A 3 mana 4/2/3 is not bad at all.
no, not at all. Again, just a card that can really just kind of just reward itself just for being played here. Um, and again, like you said, we talked about the
However,
strat here. We're just going to try to take this hero companion or this hero expedition. Um,
however,
mhm,
there's 4 mana on the side of Gulrang. There's a lot of scary things to be played with 4 mana
yeah,
in Gulrang. Mostly Messictets, but also a lot of other combinations of cards. All right, Conjuring Seal is kind of waving the flag here for the day, only threatening with at most a 2/2/2 to up the ante a little
yeah.
bit.
And again, we talked about that pressure, right? Right now, that spirit, what's it called? Spirit Wielder,
Beard
can
Wheeler
win the day on the companion side there, and that's exactly what's going to go happen here. Again, we talked about having to apply that pressure, so now we're telling our opponent that they need to have that at least an orders trooper in order to stop this advancement, which they do not, as they are passing for the day. And this is what I was talking about. Basira needed to start applying that pressure here, because once Gorang hits that magic number 8, it could get real problematic.
was, yeah, it is the right play, and it just one of those situations where you know that your opponent might have many answers to your play in that regard, right? There's a lot of one mana ways to get a token out on when you're playing Gorang, Mobile Armory, Templars, you name it. However, you're forcing your opponent into a situation where, like, well, show me it then. And if you don't have it, I will be advancing twice. And in that tiny margin that they don't have it, you will be profiting to the absolute max. Don't lose sight of ensuring a single expedition win if you can add pressure to the, the complementing expedition.
Right. And again, that is just a trading card, any a competition period. I think a lot of the best players know when it's the right time to play chicken. Um, it's going to say, I'm going to put this out here. Either you're going
In
to have
life,
what you need, or it's not happening.
great advice for TCGs, great advice in life. And you're all getting it for free here, guys. That is all I'm saying.
Our favorite Bravos card here, Acolyte, coming in here.
It is though. It unironically is. I love this card. I've been screaming off the rooftops that people are horrendously underplaying Aklut. And this was like when it got released, I was like, I love this card. Not only because it is objectively the cutest art in the game. Look at that little orca on legs, terrifying.
Yeah.
But also just because of the ceiling for this card is so high. Being able to play exhausting 2 cards, devastating. Not even in Basira alone, getting it in Kojo as well, where you're usually playing 2 to 3 Haven's Bastions, allowing it its second boost as well, or a cheeky little helping hand, giving it a boost halfway throughout the day and taking away fleeting from it. Man, the sky's the limit with this card.
Yeah, no, I enjoy it thoroughly. While we're talking about when stuff comes out and just feeling, I'm not going to say justified because nobody has done it yet. I think I'm just going to have to try to pick up the mantle on my own. But ever since base set release Beyond the Gates, I've always said that Sigismar has potential to be the best control character in the game, just because on his face it says, "Hey, here's a 1/1/1." Where if you have the answers that Ortis has in hands for removal, well, 1/1/1 static card will win you the game a lot of the time. I just think that, and don't get me wrong, when it first started off, yeah, it was right to just play all the token generators and boosters and things like that. But I feel like as Sigismar has not been placing high in super competitive events, I feel like maybe it's time for Sigismar's players to start experimenting, going the heavy control route. Sigismar always had elements of control, but they were generally just trying to token rush you. But to go the heavy control
And
route and start leveraging just having free stats every day.
did you see that one Sigismar deck that played like 3 uniques with the draw at dusk?
Yeah.
That was a thing of beauty. I will say. I thought it was very nice. The way I run my Sigismar myself is that more varied, kind of that in between. It can tempo it out, but the best mechanic in the game to me, or at least the most enjoyable mechanic in the game to me, is sleep. And leveraging those uniques
Hmm.
is, well, like putting them asleep or catching your opponent off guard with a hypothermia is so incredibly enjoyable. And I think the 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 skill expression in maneuvering through unique, the leveraging the unique, the sleep mechanic in the game, it goes to show how well you know this game.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. Chat, if you are listening and you want to feel like, yeah, I feel like sleep, but I feel like I don't play it right. Start playing Waru. When you start playing Waru, you're either going to lose games or win games by figuring out how to leverage that sleep mechanic. Once you get that figured out, I feel like if you could play Warrior well, knowing when to manage, when to sleep things and when not to, I feel like you will definitely have an understanding of how to apply it elsewhere across all the other heroes and factions in the
I think you were very right before the nerf. Now that he is no longer has the
game.
choice to to put things to sleep or to keep him in, it
Yeah,
is become the choice is made for you. Boo! Revert. No, no. Okay, don't let me start on this rant.
yeah,
But yeah, I think Lyra does it really really well.
yep.
But that is kind of the cool thing. A lot of the factions have just good access to sleep. Even Bravos have it with the Twinkle Twinkle, and it's definitely worth running a Twinkle Twinkle as a rare just to catch your opponent off guard. Especially, all right, hear me out. Twinkle Twinkle into the hunger the next day is absolutely monstrous.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's for sure. I To be honest with you, I forgot that. I didn't even know where Twinkle's out of faction rare was at, just to show you how many times I have seen Bravos players play it.
I mean, it is criminally underplayed in Bravos, right? Preferring to play the rare cards such as the Duel of Grit, which great rare card, but here and that is where a lot of shine goes in other factions. The rare or the spy is a great card, but the common is a great card too.
Hmm.
That is my opinion about Duel of Grit. It is a great card at rare, lovely. Discarding things is always good, but the common one is just good too. We don't have to put it, and then you free up your slots to play things like the Slay, to play things like Twinkle Twinkle, and especially in Kojo decks where the you might be running out of gas later on. Being able to sleep those big scary targets, which are more prevalent than ever, right? We discussed that earlier. They're more
Hmm.
prevalent than ever.
Yeah,
Twinkle Twinkle's value is going up big time.
it is, and it might take the hooked route. Again, hooked was very criminally underplayed, and now it is a
Yep.
staple. Now we may start seeing that as well too, because now again our card pool has expanded, so now there's more options that are available, and that's the beauty about having different heroes in the faction, right? There are going to be some cards that we say that are criminally underplayed, and some of these heroes in Skybound Odyssey may absolutely take some of those cards to the moon just because they are going to be playing a different
Yeah,
style of game that the other heroes
for
in the
sure.
faction haven't. Like it's only a
I
ticking
think
time
the
bomb.
one
Like Iraq is only a ticking time bomb. The more cards we get printed that has zero statistics that are going to have better stats, eventually that character is going to tops.
Yeah, it's here. Here's my thing. The only I agree with everything you said, except for Rin, which is a hero that only very bad players play. Now, I'm sorry, Rin players out there. It's yeah, I think it's a fact that when you play Rin, you are in the bottom 1% of people.
Got Victor in chat said no Ren, shaking my head. Um,
Yeah, actually, I'll be very honest. Rin players that are called Victor are just
mm.
they are objectively just bad people. Just as people out there. They don't add a lot to the world.
Uh, please note, AWOL does not reflect the opinions of Bandit that is solely his of his own.
No, Victor is a great friend of mine who is a pioneer in Rindex. This man was playing Rin out of the gates when everybody was lifting their nose as they were drooling all over Tasia.
So,
Right, this man was playing Rin in national tournaments and managing top 8 victories with it.
right, we got an active chat going on here. Gus says Axiom has no sleep besides the Capellas, and he had a crying emoji. And Cole said Ren is on the bottom of the pool, and Arjun is in the deep bottom of the ocean.
It is true, but in Axiom it makes sense that there's no sleep, right? And that it's such a flavorful faction to not have sleep. Sleep? No, you work.
Right,
No
a
sleeping,
unique
only work.
paper herald. Um, Looks like a rhinoceros beetle. This unique artwork here. Oh, that's a lot of text. Jesus. When my expedition fails to move forward during dusk, after rest, create an orders for crew in each of your expeditions. When another non-token character joins your expedition, create an orders for crew in your other expedition. All right, so if it fails to move, you get an Orders recruit in each of your expeditions. When another non-token character joins either your expeditions, you create an Orders recruit in the other one. And this is just a 2 cost unique for this effect. And it's both
Yeah,
static,
and
so we've done the right thing in sleeping it so that we have it available for the next turn as well too.
it is at that point in the game because also the cards on for the Basira currently, right? They put asleep their Bravos Blade Dancer, their only creature that does not have fleeting, meaning that the day after this, it is going to be very, very hard to not overflow your reserve. And that is what I mean when I say maneuvering your deck through sleep
Mm-hmm.
is one of those skills that you really have to develop. And it's one of those few instances where you have to look 2 3 days ahead when managing your sleep cards.
Right. And again, running a token deck makes that a lot easier because the tokens don't persist. So right now, even if this Gorang has nothing else to play, I mean, they're only going to have to make the decision of what one card to discard out of reserve. And yeah, and again, that's just so we've got the helping hand here, or we making Ozma lose the fleeting. Okay. Are we playing it again?
Yeah, and this Gulrang player has stabilized the match so
Mhm.
so well. I
We-
mean, not not even a few moments ago, they were behind 4 steps in the expedition, and they have come back with that quite nicely. Was not losing out on too many cards. They'll be overflowing a little bit, but the times that you're replaying Hypothermia from reserve are very limited,
Can we talk about
so
how
there
this
won't be too.
Basira just salvaged this day? It won't be a
Yeah, but it's
double
gonna cost them.
advance.
It's gonna cost them because that is an overflowing reserve. I mean, they did draw 2 cards, so they won't be too wary about it.
Yeah,
However, what do they have still
helping
up
hand.
their sleeve, so to speak?
Yeah, it's kind of
There
telling
is,
we've
I mean,
decided to
in
keep
their in
the
their favor,
yeah keep the
there's a lot of raw power.
curve. Yeah, I don't know. We hit that magic number 8 with Gorang here, as we talked about. Hitting those day 6 and on. Not being able to apply that pressure as much as you would like to. So now we're really, really in a bind. I feel though, Basura has probably some of the best as far as card advantage in hand that I've seen this late in the game for most Bravos decks.
Yep, they just drew 4 cards, right, including their draw 2 for the start of the day, and because Gulrang has advanced past the companion expedition
Oh,
of
what a play!
us. Oh yeah, man, that is just absolute devastation.
What a play! We boosted the good boy.
What a bomb.
We're going to exhaust these out here, and once again, put a skull ring on. Have it in your hand, or you're going to have a problem dealing with this. As Kyle in
Yeah,
chat has
they
said,
had it before.
someday it will be their time. Someday it will be their time. Someday we're going to see Orok and Arjun and Rin all top somewhere. Um, Maybe it'll be in Skybound. Who knows?
I mean, I've been loving the force feeding Arjun decks, man. I've been experimenting with it myself. I thought it was very very quirky and unique, and then it was revealed to me that no, this is an existing deck format out there. Piloted with some results, and please, people that are getting into 2v2, 3v3, Force Feeder Arjun is an absolute menace in multiplayer because all those players drawing cards mean just so much more value for all the payoff cards.
That's very good. I don't have any experience with the multiplayer format, but I'm glad you brought that up because we get a teamwork training dropped here. Getting rid
Hey,
of the
that was
Ozma
beautiful.
here. Yeah.
That I think that was one of the most beautiful segues you could drop as a person.
All right. So now we've gotten rid of that Ozma over there. I'm trying to figure out, are we conceding the companion expedition here? Or because we got rid of that Ozma, I thought it would be the Aklut, but because
Well, if we concede it, then that means we'll be getting 2 tokens on tomorrow
yeah. Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
our
yeah.
hero expedition is already behind and they'll be tied back again, and
Yeah.
then they can threaten the win with the double advance themselves.
Yeah.
So Not the worst expedition to be giving up right now,
Yeah.
but risky because if you do not win your hero expedition today, you're done.
Yeah. What we got coming out? Life
Ooh, we'll be leveling it out.
Carl. This card is devastating. I normally see the rare version of it, but the common version of this card does quite fine as well too. Um,
And this play just goes to show how incredibly set they are on getting that second token back for tomorrow. Spending 3 mana to answer a 1/1/1. Yeah, they'll be getting more value out of it tomorrow, yada yada yada. But that is how important it is for them to get that second token back online.
right. I just want to talk about again how huge that Aklut play was because having that Templar trap down in there, as we were needing water on our companion side anyway, and then the Ortis Overseer not being allowed to bring in the recruit on the hero side as well too, just extremely heads up play that has
It is
saved us
heads
a
up.
day here,
However,
right?
however,
And was
this does
almost go
mean
ahead.
that the Aklut will be exhausting cards again the next day, right? You had the opportunity to get rid of the Aklut for good,
Yeah,
but the Gorang said no. I can handle losing a single card tomorrow because they will be able to play their best card, which I mean you're gonna have to assume that would be that juicy token spawner, whilst uh, using the support ability of the Overseer. So to empty out that reserve to minimize the impact that the Aklut will make.
yeah. However, you
But
have to
that
be
is
able
the
to
the
play the. You'll have to just see here. Oh yeah, you can go ahead and do it instantly. Okay, say cool.
yeah. So yeah, it is very resource hungry to make the play that they did. Putting one in mana now as well only makes me more fearsome about what they have left in their hand. Could it be an open the gates or something similar that oh,
Oh,
now this is very interesting.
so are we using the
They will be
reserve
sacrificing.
effect on the
Yeah.
unique? No,
No.
we chose not to. It's it's
Sparlow Stipend.
huh. I'm all right. I'm curious to see how the rest of this day
Is
turns out.
I think that might have been a misclick. I am very sad to say, but that might be.
That's wow. Um, yeah. I would like to go as
Yeah,
likely
he
to
is
say it was a miss.
condemning his own play in chat right now.
Okay. Yeah, as I say,
That is so sad.
oh, we had to play the Atlas awfully early. Again, here we are, 5. So if you control one or more landmarks tokens, you control a gigantic. If you control 3 or more characters, draw a card. Very, very good, and probably a cheap unique considering the effect that it requires a landmark. Like we talked about it earlier. Any of these uniques that require having a landmark, they are super cheap.
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
Akalut here is going to be
Um,
doing its very best to compete over here.
yeah, he's gonna be trying hard, and oh,
Not
he
having that
seems to be.
purple hero.
Oh,
Hypothermia.
man, they salvaged it. They
Yeah.
salvaged it completely. I mean, there's just absolutely no way that with 4 mana they're gonna overcome 12, 12, 12 in stats. That
Yeah.
is just not happening. And if it does happen, I'm not sure, but I'll do something embarrassing.
If that happens, I'm gonna put that in the memory bank for plays that I might be able to make. Another card that I want to talk about that's kind of underplayed that I thoroughly enjoy in Izmir is the Metamorphosis. I love that card so much. I can't tell you how many times I've turned a gigantic or the hunger that's been statted out or anything like that. Just turn it into a 2/2/2 mana moth. It's a very good
it is
card.
not bad at all, is it?
Oh, all right. As we're tossing GGs, the Gorang does what Gorang decks do: stabilize after the early game and absolutely dominates and controls during the late few days of the expeditions. Congratulations to Sparlow there, as they have gotten the dub here on table 1. Very good game. Very good game.
Yeah, very entertaining, and that is just such a beauty to see, especially because I think it's been I might be out of the loop for a little bit, but I think it's been a while since Gorang was actually topping any real tournaments. I mean, being played, yes, seeing good results, sure, but actually making it very, very high, like top three, in a little bit, I think.
Yeah, no doubt for sure. I definitely enjoy going on, which we shouted out earlier, but definitely remind you all that a lot of these top decks that are at least had 4 wins. I think it's every deck that finishes 4-2 is what gets posted on 39cards.com. You can very easily go and access the uniques, but you can kind of see the skeleton, the backbone of the deck as you try to put your own spin on it as well too. If it's
Yeah,
still good
and
on
there
your
is so
end,
much room
Bandit,
because even
pick a table for us while I'm trying to get BGA back up and running because it's spazzed out on me.
yes,
Okay,
oh,
I didn't mean to cut you off.
well, we had a
You
lot of
finish your
finished
thought from
matchups.
there, but it's
No, I think we're just waiting for the next round, to be honest, because all the matches have finished.
uh,
This
okay.
current round
So we're just
that
hitting
it
refresh. That's
shows me.
probably why it was triggering. Oh, nope. Table 43 and table 48 still has stuff going on. Yeah, let's
Let's
hop
just
to
look
table
over that.
43. Let's talk about that. We're like in round 4. Sorry, unexpected issue has occurred. Okay. BGA is BGAing here.
I can sketch you a little word picture. It's a Gulrang against a Fen. Gulrang is only one step away from winning in Hero Expedition. They're in Solo Mountain and in their companion action in Forest and Water, up against Nevenka, who is only 2 steps away from winning. However, is currently in a very dominant position. A 999 Anansi in the companion. Oh, easily going over the currently 555 in power from the Gulrang. A slept Aloe Vera in the hero, and 888 Anansi paired with the Snowman. So 81111 in the hero against a 000 from Gulrang, who is now fully committed to winning that companion expedition. We'll be discarding Orders Overseer for another token in that companion expedition. Uh, another time, it puts him on 666 and still has 5 mana available, but it might be having a very good shot at advancing and snatching away the game.
All right.
And
See,
that will do it.
BGA has finally
The
got itself together.
teamwork trading will get rid of the last Soul Anansi that was holding down the companion expedition for our Fen player. And with no more mana available, well, that doesn't always mean anything in Lyra, but no more cost reduction, no more mana. It will be taking away this win from Breezy.
And of course, as I finally get, all right, I'll head back here and see if that other table was done, or if not, we'll just stay here in the caster and just kind of chat a little bit as we're waiting
Breeze
for the
is
next round
being
to
called,
open up
and
here.
yeah, for sure. Oh,
Table
can
48
you
is
hold down the
trying to
fort
wrap up
as
here.
I restock my
And
water
check on their
and stuff?
progress. They've been at game has ended. Okay, cool. All right. Well, we have got the next round up. I am going to try to find some people who are going to go ahead and wrap up if they haven't. For those who are unaware, anybody who goes X and 1 earns their invite to the end of season invitational. So I'm going to try to find some folks here who've got 4 wins. Well, we're going to find a guaranteed advancer, a table here at the guaranteed advancer. Um, Agaman and Groupie 7. Agaman's fine. Excellent. Table 3 is where I'm heading. Bandit. Whenever we get to decide who we get to pick. Well, you still there with me? I think we have lost Bandit somehow as we work to try to get him back. I am waiting for this table to begin in progress, so that way we can go from there. Check the Discord, see what's up here. Make sure that he hasn't messaged me that something has happened. Maybe a good old Windows reboot. In the meantime, though, let's get you some action on the screen here. Wait for the table to load up here. Just as a reminder here, again, both of these players are sitting at 4 wins. Whichever one wins here, if they haven't already, will earn their spot in the end of season invitational. So I'm excited to see this here as we've got Sigismar versus Trace matchup here. I think Ortis
And
has
what
been
table
the
are we
featured
watching this
match
at?
in the first round of every game here as we are wrapping up night one. A 2-1 advance here that we've got going on Ortis side as we're good to go there. Okay.
Can you hear me again, Mama?
All right. Yeah. Try to
Mama?
work with see if we can get our director to get Bandit back in there as well too. Cole, he is not on Video Ninja as well too, so I don't know if something maybe happened with the computer. Okay. Oh, that worked out. Okay. As the Trace is dropping in with Haven, I'll just remember to tell him table 3 when he gets back. Oh, but I mean, like, he's actually out the room, so he'll have to go back through the link again. If he wants to hop back in, he could just mute it and we've been all right. Okay. All righty. So I got an early Haven out, which Haven makes a ton of difference here for Trace. Of course, it is that errated Haven. Bravo's Haven got to keep theirs, where anytime you play the character from reserve, they got a boost. This one there has just been changed to being able to resupply. And if you commit it, when played resupply, however, you can exhaust it and then give that character a boost coming out.
There we go.
Hey, there we go.
That was weird.
Yeah,
But I'm glad
we
we're
are
back.
back. Okay, I'm in table 3, and
Yes.
we
I
got
overheard.
Sigismar versus Traced. But you
I
should
did
be seeing.
overhear that. Let me jump into that. Table 3.
And just so I let
Now,
chat know, and just let you know as well too, this is a guaranteed qualification for whoever the winner is here, as this would lock up their 5 wins for the event.
ooh, interesting. Now, I will say Trace can be a tricky matchup, especially if you're playing against these higher ranked Trace decks that could be threatening that bug fix value chain, so to speak. And we're always seeing some slight deviations as the bumble beats are rolling fluently from the Sigismar side.
Right. Yeah. I'm also curious to see the back and forth here. As we notice this Elo, both of these players are above 400 for their Elo. And probably maybe play regular each other, both being from France. So I'm definitely curious to see, the play style we have. We see these heroes all the time, but I want to see what decision trees they have or what type of plays they make, as we get higher up in those Elo rankings.
Well, I do like the. It's very reasonable that if you're this highly high, it is very reasonable that if you're at this level of altered, and you're both friends, that you probably know each other. But I love just the assumption. Oh, they're both French. Oh, they must know each
They
other.
might, yeah. It's just one of them, like, and we noticed that because
They're probably neighbors.
yeah, it's one of the things that I am jealous that Europe has. Like their stuff is a bit closer. I know there's still like separation and stuff that's there, but a lot of their stuff is still a lot closer
That is
than
the
what some
thing
Americans
you're jealous of Europeans.
have. So there's other things. There's other things. Trust me. However, um, gameplay wise, just being able to have like locals and stuff here. Like right now, I have to drive like an hour and a half just to get to the nearest shop that plays Altered. Um, and
Yeah,
then
that
after that
is.
hour and a half, it's another 3.5 or maybe 4 hour drive to find another one that plays Altered. So
Yeah, that is sad. Then you mostly have BGA. And even though I do spend most of my time on BGA as well, playing the game, right? As a
Right.
very
Kohlrabi says,
nice
Bandit,
zero
healthcare,
day.
please.
No.
Say,
No, I mean, I'd come hand deliver it to you, but since I am married to another man, my government has told me to not travel to America anymore. So, well, whoopsie. All right, but let's fuel this escapism into a little game and avoid any real world issues.
right. This is what we play games for, baby.
Hell yeah! No terrorists on these babies yet.
Right? Listen, as my graphics card is somewhere in limbo across the game. We got a unique monolith rune scribe here. Has the when played from reserve, you control a token up to two target characters each gain two boost. Wow. And then the
Ooh.
standard when another non-token character joins your expedition, create an Ordis recruit in the other expedition.
Now that is going to be quite important for the Sigismar player to present multiple threats that are scary on their own that cannot solely be answered by just hooking them to the other side, right? Because it is Sigismar a bit on the back foot right now, as well, Priest is about to pop off to the next counter, putting it online, and already a Frankenstein in there. Yeah, we got rid of a single Haven Bravo's Bastion, but is that going to be enough, especially with the margin of for error that Trace has currently by being up an expedition on a Sigismar?
Yes. Yeah. Again, Trace have to always push for that early pressure. Because at any time, uh, it could just like backfire, right? If they don't get those resupply chains going, Sigismars just kind of tends to outvalue you once they get those tokens going because you're not outstatting a lot of those tokens that they're bringing to the forefront. I thought a teamwork training was coming down here. I'm sure they could breathe a sigh of relief here uh, on the side of Traced for the
They're
most
just kind
part.
of
I mean, there's still
angling
enough
for
mana
that
they
for
can
that
play.
anchored. They're just kind of angling for that anchored beat boy coming through. Now, whatever they plop down might be answered with a hooked, and God knows what else is lurking in there, and not even to speak of the extra boost that they can dish out if they would like. Um, so yeah, we're in a bit of a situation where it is up to the traced player to select a card to discard to reserve, as he has made a little draw for himself and will have to show a little more of his game plan for today. There you see the flexibility of Hooked in action, not only being able to target your opponent's cards, which against a Sigismar is already so tricky,
Mm-hmm.
right? With
We
all
got the
the uh,
Bumble Root,
the
Bumble Beat.
Bumblebeat. You got there in the end.
Oh man, so much alliteration, man. Just got all tripped up there.
What's now I am curious. What does a Bumble Boot look like?
I
Does it
couldn't tell you.
does it
Evidently,
only trip you up
it looks
like a flying beat?
like a oh my god, I can't think of that Pokemon, Duskern or something like that. The one that's shaped like a corn on the cob. This is what Bumblebeat reminds me of. A Kurskin, something like that. Somebody help me out, please. I'm drowning.
Now with another little 1-for-1 day coming through from the side of a trace and looking down the barrel of another token spawner, while Sigismar has plenty of options still. You might be looking to maybe just salvage this day and yeah, kind of set up for tomorrow. See if you can hold them back at one point, maybe even. But
um,
yeah, we
yeah.
are in a precarious situation, which is almost more interesting than the fact that this is playing a rare armor jammer, a card that I personally thoroughly enjoy.
I do as well too. I did have a Sierra deck I ran where it was cantripping The main thing in the deck was cantripping armor jammer, because we didn't
Nice.
have the exhaust mechanic yet, so there was really no way to
Yeah.
answer cards in reserve. They almost felt safe unless you're able to play the sabotage. Um, but again, here this is also something Bandit you alluded to as well as maybe conceding the day and setting up for the next turn. That's something that I feel like is a next level play. That's like the next step of your game to level up is deciding when it's like, okay, I'm probably would be wasting my resources and still losing. Let me just go ahead and
But
figure
look
out
at this
how
unique.
to hemorrhage
Look at
uh
this unique. They
Athena.
and with the Haven Bastion out in play now as well. That is a 2 mana 5/5/5 that we're getting an extra boost from Haven. So it's a 2 mana 6/6/6. So this Trace is not looking to save any fuel. He is looking to go 1 for 1 once again.
Right. Able to keep that pressure on. We talked about having the token spawner, but who cares when I've got one character that's just blowing all your token spawners out. Um,
Yeah, and not even that. He can keep it around for tomorrow if because he will be losing one of these landmarks regardless. So he can just play the Grems if he wants. They're not in green anyway on their companion expedition. Doesn't need that stat. Pop down three water power with the Haven Bastion next to it. Sacrifice the Armor Jammer. Make another token, and oh, look at that. I mean, that is the Sandman that will be locking down that token. Oh no! Oh no! Oh, that cannot be what he wanted. That cannot be what he wanted. There is a
we
very juicy token spawner next to it that
I
would have
don't think
probably
was it a
loved
misclick or
to.
was he just
I mean, it has to be, right? It has to be Mystic. Why would you not want to keep around that juicy, juicy monolith rune scribe?
'cause we see the Athena play coming down. Normally we'll see it pop up in chat. I know I do, and it's just like, oh, misclick or mixed play, but we aren't seeing that here. I'm guessing it may have been intentional.
How could it be intentional? How could that be intentional? I feel like was he that much in need of the stats? Well, it's only one more,
Yeah, it's only
and
one. Yeah, I don't know.
oh
I don't know. I'm trying to fish for. I'm trying to help our Sigismar player out
yeah,
here.
they'll be beating themselves up for that one because even though it was
Especially if the
still
game is so
looking
close.
like a 1 for 1 day, but starting off this day with a token spawner ready to go that the Sigismar that the trace probably can't deal with because their main form of interaction is hooked, and you don't really care where your token spawner is. Yeah,
All
try
right,
and
it's now this.
overcome this.
Oh man, such a good
What an
unique.
absolutely wonderful card. Yeah, that is just an absolute beauty. And man, I've been I mean throughout the you've heard me adoring a plethora of cards,
Hmm.
but my first love was Athena in Subhash. It's still very dear to me, but man, it is just and then seeing this unique, beautiful. There is the pass from Goupil set,
There's the
and that will
GGs. Just
be
wrapping
all
it
she
up,
wrote.
man. I don't got it. As Agaman, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. If they have not earned their season 3 invitation, they sure just did now. Congratulations. Hopefully you'll be able to play here at the end of the season.
Yeah,
It's a big.
it is a clear example of. Oh, never mind, never mind. I
All right.
say nothing.
And now Agaman has now bumped up to 500, leveled up off of that win there with +8 to the elo. Let me
Yeah,
get
it's
back
not often
here.
that you get to play against other very highly leveled elo players. It is quite tricky, and then to be matched, because you got to be online at the same time. And even though you may feel like you're always paired up against people that might be ranked higher than you, I can tell you sometimes I'm really hungering for like, man, it's good to make the hours and get the repetitions. But especially when you're trying to train against quite unique decks like Bugfix, for example, right, which is only being played by only a very small group of people. it is a little difficult sometimes.
Right. Oh, scroll BGA. Thank you. We've already seen all the marbles like 4 times today. Let's hop on and find Adopt a Meeple and Zeus. Zeus has a win. Where's Adopt a Meeple at? Adopt a Meeple. Where are you? Oh yeah, they both have 4 wins. All right, join me at table 6, please. We've got another. Never
I will be
mind, the
joining
game
you.
is over. Looks like Adopt a
I will
Meeple
not be
won.
joining
They
you.
have earned their invites.
Congratulations.
Looks like a lot of the top tables are finishing their games up here. We'll try table 5. See if we can hop in there, see what's up.
Let's do that.
See what's going on as the game box is
Cutting it
loading, which
close
sometimes
as
lets me know the game.
your favorite heroes represented, with Lindiwa being the first player,
Hey,
both only one step away from advancing and having a full mana bar to do it with, only having to surpass a 3-3-3
that hypotheses.
or a 0-0-0 in the other side,
Now Requiem.
and they can still just plop down that little rascal of a jellyfish. Now, walk me through this. This is your show now, Momo.
Hmm. What's
Yep,
up?
they'll just win now. Great. So slippery
Yep.
on the side of Lindiva. What is the
This
what is
this
the
card
biggest
right
thing you can
here.
give to someone starting out on Lindiva?
Biggest thing I give for somebody that's starting out on Lindway. Um, understand to be prepared to take your lumps. You're going to lose a lot of games. And that's okay. If you're one of those but you're going to learn something every game. If you are okay with taking lumps but getting better, this is definitely a character for you. The other thing that I would recommend to you, not every character that you play has to have the sacrifice ability. I think that is a trap to want to have. You need enough of them, but they don't need to be every character because there are going to be some times where you're not just going to be able to trigger it, and you're just going to need those characters in order to still advance your expeditions. Uh, One trick that I have learned that I have been navigating is sometimes use Maw as the sacrificial lamb in order to trigger some of your effects, like the After You on Baba's Izba, or being able to draw a card.
Mm.
And that is something that I did not learn until here, like maybe a couple months ago. That it's okay to sacrifice Ma. Like, for example, if you're not going to win the companion expedition, okay, give yourself some card advantage the next turn. Sacrifice Ma. Um, do that with gift to self, or if you need to get rid of a permanent ahead of time, use that for boom. Like, don't be afraid to sacrifice Ma. I know the mistakes that I made very early on as a Lindway player was feeling like I had to play Ma every turn and I had to feed him every turn. We're heading to table
Mm.
10. Seems like
Yeah,
that
and
game still has
I
quite a
think
bit of progress.
I think that really feeds into each other. Both when you say you are not playing for you're going to be the learning curve is quite steep on Diva, right? And I think it's very important
Yes.
to tell people, elo and your rank are, they don't really matter. Let's be real here. They are results that come to a good player. The elo doesn't make a good player, but a good player will have the elo, right? I think that is a fair way to put it.
Yes. Yeah. And that's just kind of how mine has been. My elo is tanked. I was in the 300s or close to the 300s, I think. Maybe it was 250 or something like that. I can't remember. But started
Oh,
experimenting with
disgusting!
Lindway, and I
No, I'm just
absolutely
kidding.
loved it. Yeah, and absolutely tanked my elo, but it's fine because now I'm happy with where I'm playing the game at with the Lindway as I've learned everything because it is just such a mental tax on your opponent to realize, okay, do they have a sacrifice trigger in hand? And now am I suddenly looking at a Ma with instead of twos across the board, there's a four. Am I looking at a Ma with
Yeah,
now
and
instead of
also
four,
just
it's another
how
six trigger.
slippery you are.
Yeah,
How slippery Elendiva is really, um, especially when the second set came out. I was astonished by how much flexibility they had to suddenly sacrifice in one expedition to overtake on the other one. You are never ever truly committed to
mhm.
expedition until you've passed. It feels like.
Yes, and that is true, and that's the other thing that makes Lindway a difficult learning curve. Like in order to play the character effectively, you have to know the meta because that's going to affect your decisions on when to sacrifice,
Definitely.
what to hold in your hand. Even more so, like that. That's every hero, right? But even more so with the Lindway, it's important to have the right card in hand. As we see, the Sigismar is just absolutely trying to get gassed up on this other side here. But a lot of resources just to be tying up the lane over here. However, we
What
are
table are we doing? 15? No,
table 10 is where we're at.
table 10. Thank you.
Yeah. I get our ATP loan player here is trying to figure out if he wants to play the rallying call or not, where you can give a character a boost and make it lose a sleep. However, I don't think we're going to make anybody lose a sleep. We'll let Sigismar have his dirt on that end. Perhaps give our order spy the boost, maybe, or I guess any character the boost so that we can win the day and get a 2-0 advance. That's what I'm thinking here. Not sure where the hesitation's coming from. There we go. All right. Or maybe it could have just been BGA loading up. That could have been the issue too.
Could have been. At this point, it's always very important to make sure that you actually count it correctly and make sure
Yeah,
that you're in
to
the
make sure
right
that they tie the
expedition,
lane.
the biomes. It never hurts to double check, especially when you still have another 3 minutes on your clock.
Yeah, for sure.
Because man, I've probably lost more games than I'd like to admit, or than I probably can remember from be like, oh, I'm not looking at my own expedition. I'm looking at my opponent's expedition.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm in it. That
The
it's silly stuff like that.
I'll tell you the amount of times I have lost games because I forgot that a character had tough two on them or that there's a spindle in play is more than I care to remember. But they've been important, painful lessons to especially taking my time on BGA. My opponent in person might allow me to take that back or remind me like, hey, I got tough. It would cost you more and be like, oh, okay. Here on BGA, once you click that button, you don't
No
get
mercy.
to cancel it back.
Yeah, we had one season where you could restart your turn, but they took that out again as well. And I think especially um I like it. I when you're in person, it's a different story. Are we playing a tournament? Yes or no?
Sure,
But
for
at a
sure.
certain point, if you missed something, then you are clearly not the better player. If
Yep.
taking your time on something is a skill that you have to develop as a player as well.
Right. And I think it develops alongside a trade of what we call sequencing for any of my non-TCG players or folks who are just kind of getting into it. Sequencing is extremely important when you're trying to make that jump that gap to becoming a top tier player. And all the sequencing means is that the order that which you play your cards in, they significantly matter. Um, Especially as we have seen multiple in these other high ranked games. That line of sequencing can be the difference between safely being able to play a high cost threat or it just getting removed easily for like for orders for teamwork training. Can't tell you how many 6 or 7 or 8 threats that's gotten just instantly deleted off the board for 2 mana because they were played maybe a bit early.
Now look at the difficult decision that
Yeah.
our Spanish player has put the Frenchie in, right?
Mm.
Forcing like, all right, either lose the card draw on your own attorney, or let me sabotage something for free
Yep.
and let me advance on the other side. So really in a difficult split, and he looks like he is electing to put some pressure on that hero expedition rather than taking care of that companion expedition. And it does kind of make sense, right? You can't
Yeah.
get rid of the legate; it'll come back. It's but you are all out right now, and that is not the card that you want to see.
No, no, it is not. Because we can easily sleep. Oh, okay. So you can easily sleep a
Oh,
token here, one of your own tokens, to kind of prepare for the next turn and still win the lane here.
even better, put it on Jack Frost. I would say
Yeah.
because or yeah, You
Anything
would
right
be
now.
one for one, I guess. There would be 2-1. Oh no, there would be a touch of a
No.
mountain.
Yeah, it would have been. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because of there. Okay. Yeah, because trying to look through and read that there.
Still though, yeah, maybe on your own token. Maybe I did miscount. I will say, as the stream goes on, I have been noticing that I've been getting less detail oriented, and that is another aspect that has to be playing on not only us but also our players as well. And it's going to be acting up double at these Grand World Championship qualifiers coming up soon this weekend. Where how sharp are you after 5 rounds? How sharp are you
Mhm.
after 3, 4, 5 hours of playing?
Right. And this is why we always recommend for anybody who's thinking about playing this weekend, regardless of whether you think your deck is the best deck that you can play, I recommend playing the deck that you're most comfortable with. Because if you're not familiar with playing in tournaments, mental fatigue is a real thing. This is why it's important to play with a deck you're comfortable with because you are able to shut off a lot of those decisions that you're making. They'll be automatic in your head because you're just so familiar with the deck. If you're trying to play something that you are unfamiliar with, the type of mental taxing that's going to be on you, like we said, by round 5, 6, and up, it's gonna take its toll on you. You're gonna realize that that's when you'll see the head scratching things like, oh God, if I did my math right, or why did I play that there when it should have been over there?
Right?
That's when those things start happening.
And just to add to it, I'm going to say as well, with the meta looking as it currently is, I think there are very few heroes that are not capable of winning a big event like that.
For
Yeah,
sure.
best of ones are of course a something to have an opinion on, and variants will be playing up, so more consistent decks are coming higher. However, here there have been a lot of upsets, and I think with the amount of diversity that we've been seeing in the representation of heroes up top, I don't think Altered has ever been as diverse in its top heavy meta as it has been today.
For sure. I can definitely agree with you with that. Which also attributes as well to Equinox taking some of their stuff on the chin. Like some of these suspensions or some of the erratas were maybe a bit heavy handed, but it's better to have them than not, right? Like I feel like Robin Hood can kind of go back in some way, shape, or form to be kind of tuned back up again. Um, now that there are potentially more answers that are available, as we see a snoozer shroom, a snoozer. I gotta remember that there are two different shroom types now. Unique being played here. That's a token generator. As we go down for our lone orders player here.
You gotta keep track of your shroom types, because otherwise your pasta it might be bringing you places you can't come back from.
And this is a snoozer
Now
shroom that's
this
not
one,
putting anything to sleep, is it? Oh no, it's from reserve.
it
Hey, I was about to
definitely
say,
isn't,
hold on here.
but not for this minute.
No,
Right now, putting down raw
there's the sleeper.
power. However, this bad boy will definitely be putting something to sleep.
That might be game right there. Put Jack Frost or whoever we want to put at this point. Might be the Sandman, could be Jack Frost,
Five
could be
mana is a
whoever.
lot of mana.
It is. It is. It is
Five,
so.
and
Especially
look
when
at
it's
that.
another Sandman. This is going to be
And
a
that is
fun
all they need.
arena time here.
Yeah, especially if they will be untapping with just the raw 5/4/5 on the board, and kind of being guaranteed to being able to open up with the 2 mana Sandman coming straight through. That is a lot of pressure. You're already putting 2 mana, means you'll be 7/9, 7/8 in mountains and water. Try and overcome that, Mister. I am top decking everything right now.
All right. I mean, you have your reserve ability from the snoozer shroom.
But let's be real here. They got it. Yeah, there is the go. It is ATP Loan that will be winning the game on time. Oh man, he's kind
Hey.
of kicking himself. And there's that other
Oh,
hidden aspect of the game. You gotta manage your time. You can't be taking forever, or you will be paying the
that is
price.
not what I meant to do. This is what I meant
What
to
a
do.
bailout!
These aren't
Holy.
spirit fingers. These are spirit fingers. All right, let's get back. here and see what we've got going on. We're copping out above 30 concurrent
Man,
viewers here. We're just at 33, 31. Thank you all for tuning in. You also will be able
yeah,
to check this up as soon as it's done. The replay will be uploaded so you can go back and find what you missed, or maybe you're just looking for some interesting new decks, new archetypes to play with. I think this round is almost wrapped up. I kind of just want to hang out till the
yeah.
next round gets started here. Oh no, evidently we've got table 42. It's still in progress.
Table
The last
42 is
table
still
we're
in
waiting on.
progress. Hurry it up, guys. What are we doing
Yeah,
here? Um,
they, I
It's
figured it
plain
out. They only
disrespectful.
yeah, they actually might be
That
wrapping up
is,
because
I mean,
BGA is taking a
gotta be
long
rushed.
time for me to open up the game. Uh,
All right, all right. I'll be keeping you posted. Table 48, you said?
42.
I don't think you said that. There's only 44 tables left. My bad. 42.
Oh, okay. So it might
In
be
progress,
42. Yeah,
71%.
it was at 42.
Yeah, here we are, and we
They have
do
like a
have
minute left in time, I think.
and it is fully in favor of the
Your
Afanas
radio
player right now.
commentary taking too long.
That is totally fine. We have Afanas being played into Gorang, and it is Gorang for the first time that is in time deficit currently, minus 30 seconds. So, I do always appreciate it when the opponents play through that instead of just sitting out their timer, which could get them to a win. But
Yeah,
sportsmanship is very important. Also in tournaments like this, it
right.
probably helps that they are currently in 2 steps ahead of this Gulrang with still 6 mana to go. So they are geared up for success.
Yeah, especially like with the truth be told, I mean, this is technically like a locals level event. There's no reason to sit here and like game the system, right? It's everybody's here just trying to get reps in, get their games in, see how well they can play things out. See, it may
What is the one thing we all
decide
have in common?
to
We love
open
playing
the
the game.
game box.
Yeah. However, Darka will have to
You cut out on me there, Bandit.
be
Now you're back.
chugging along a little bit. Oh, that's right. Am I back? Lovely. Yeah. However, as far as the sportsmanship goes, this Gulrang does have to up the tempo a little bit if they want to have a chance at finishing this game. The decisions are taking longer and longer from our Italian representative that is piloting the Afanas. And I will have to take a little look to see how far they have been bringing it. Let me have a little look.
I
101.
have not
See if we
seen.
can
I've
find them.
the only Aphonesis I've seen playing Sap Infusion has been like the reserve Aphonesis. Um,
Hmm.
which I still need a deck list of those decks because I've heard that some people have been doing that package with Lindway, and I'm curious to see how well it works as we see a unique half door come down to play. 403. When played from reserve, you control one or more landmarks. Target opponent discards a card from their hand.
Yeah, I am
I
saddened
have
to tell
Shades
you
of
that
Aku going on here.
this Afnas is currently sitting 1 on 4, but he is eyeing a second win.
That is it. We got that
One
there
on
as
four no
Aphonesis
longer.
wraps up the game. Um,
Now, Malmo, you've done this a lot more than I have.
getting the dub
Remind
there.
me. I do believe we have 7 rounds, do we not? So we'll be playing the finals
Six.
after this
There's
one.
6 rounds.
6 rounds.
Yes, yes.
Wait, so we're done now.
There's one more round
This is
after
the
here.
finale. Is it? This was round 6, no?
No, no, we're now we're in the final round. Uh, as pairings have
Oh,
posted,
oh, my bad.
going to go look and see what we need
I'm
Here. I'm
glad.
trying to find some winning ends. Trying to find people who are needing to get that fifth win. Um,
Oh,
want to
cool.
pop up
I'm
for
glad.
me.
I think
Yeah. So anybody who's in that bold line with points, looking for people who have 4 points. Both of them have 4 points. That way we know their win that they're in. Uh, K and P. Who is K and P playing? Um,
that is a very good question. Let
Table
me look.
8 is where I want to jump to. As soon as they get loaded up, we'll do table 8.
Let's make it happen.
Once this get loaded up here, I'm going to run to the restroom, but stream chat will have the gameplay up, so they'll be seeing what you're seeing here. As they must be picking their decks right now, so
Oh
we'll
yeah.
refresh here.
8, you said, right?
Yes,
AMP. Yeah.
table 8. This is a winning end
Unloaded.
game. This would be their fifth. I'm still waiting for them to upload. This would be whoever
For
wins this game will
both
get
4
their
and 1.
fifth win for the tournament. Yeah, that's
Exciting.
kind of like what I like to litter the early games with the rounds if they don't have the time, just finding all those like 4 win on the cusp. Nothing more exciting in sports than a winning end game.
Yeah, that, but also that is the
Anytime once the load.
area where very unique decks that may have taken a unlucky hit in the early game, but still managed to right that ship as the tournament went along. This is where you'll see the new hidden tech that may not have been piloted to perfection, but has the potential to bring in big success in the future. Now, as we are
Let's keep trying
slowly
this. Are you able to get into the table yet?
there, we are, and man, an olden times matchup. Well, the
Finally.
previous Afanas may have been struggling to rake in the wins. This one will definitely be looking to advance as he already has 4 traced against Afanas. A classic matchup from now has gotten a lot more rare as we see some curtsies exchange left and right. Now, this is very interesting because this Afanas is playing a rare Studious Disciple.
Bandit,
I
you're
haven't
cutting
seen
out
someone
here on me
play
real
as a rare
bad.
Studious Disciple
Oh,
in
Cole, it hasn't popped
quite
up
a
yet.
while.
So I
And
haven't swapped over yet.
with the sap infusion, will be wielding a 3/4/4 Studious Disciple
Once
just
it gets
like
rolling
that.
here.
Now,
There we
here's
go.
the thing. Now, while people have been um, moping, I think I can say, about the Afanas changes, I have been playing against some Afanas builds that were wildly successful, really in a big way, altering the way that they're deck building. They're no longer,
Again. Yeah.
doing the old Apenas tricks that we were used to, but really
Yeah.
adapting to the new playstyle and utilizing these 2 mana spells for more power where they can't stall forever. They kind of have to show their hand a little bit, but the power they get to put down is
Yep.
absolutely phenomenal. I hope we get to see that.
Exactly. And that's something that I want to mention while hopefully Gus is still watching in stream here. Typically, when a character is been errata, that means that they're just gone from being overtuned to still being finely tuned. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a hero. You just can't play them the same exact way you used to. Just like we've seen Trace, how the Trace players adapted to, Haven being nerfed. And then we still had Trace making top cuts after the event once they figured out, how to play them a bit differently.
But
But
what
Bandit,
happened? What
I've got the
happened?
game on screen. I'm going to go run to the
Yeah,
restroom real
go
quick.
for it. Go take your break, and we'll take it because I think Trace is such a good example of that, right? Trace was kind of dead in the water for a while, like not putting up any result. Akshan in general, it was mostly Sierra that was sometimes peeking through with a 5-1 or something. However, one day Trace just took over. Well, took over, was reinvigorated. It won the qualifier, one of the qualifiers in Germany, and it kind of showed the people, oh wait, there is still a way to make this happen, and that is what beautiful. That is what is so beautiful about this game, where you can be a difference maker. There are so many paths that are left unwalked still, where I will say, oh man, you can definitely still find success if you want to. Playing these original ways that you haven't seen yet in the top. So yeah, that is really beautiful. And if this Afnas manages to win this matchup, and right now he's doing okay, running a little bit low on the cards, but will have, of course, his Baba Yaga to make up for some of those troubles with just the raw power that they will be putting down. I think I hope that people will catch on to this new way to play Afanas that is still very powerful. And don't get me wrong, you are not getting 4 wins in the AWOL tournament with a deck that is really, really bad. So that something is clicking for this Afanas players, and I cannot wait to find out what the secret sauce is for them. Now, as we see some of the reserve cards being played out by Trace as he gets a very nice hit of a very, very beautiful card there. Vika in the promo art, man, absolute beauty. Restocking up his hand with the Conjuring Seal might be very, very nice. Got to be careful that he won't get hooked out of there and maybe be in a less favorable matchup. But you can't always be living in fear of your opponent always having the right thing or the perfect answer for it.
I
Gets
have
the hook
heard.
there, but now wouldn't have the power to contest it.
All right,
Welcome
good to
back, Mawa.
see that the game here has not advanced. That's always my fear. Even though I'm only gone for a few minutes, I'll come back and we're just staring at an end of game screen. Uh, as we see
They're gonna
here.
have to work a little harder than that. But this trace is gearing up to that scary, scary 5 counter mark relatively quick. I think 6 is kind of the sweet spot. If you hit it at 5, you've done it really, really well. If you had it at 6 mana, so at day 3, then you're right on target, I would say. I think that is kind of what on curve would look like for a trace player as
Yeah,
far as
I
skill.
definitely loving this sap infusion here, which has been a new bit of technology again for these Aphanis players after Aphanis was errated. And so I'm happy to see something like this. I've enjoyed some of these arcane counters cards. Curious to see what people kind of cook up with them. But I will definitely say that ever since the errata, sap infusion has seemed to be that go-to now for them. As we've got players,
Yeah, and
I can't I don't know French, so
they're gossiping. They're saying that your hair is not looking very good today. It's not very kind, but you know, they might know more than we do. Now, as some pleasantries are being exchanged left and right, I will say, as a trace player, for the trace player, it's also a little more difficult to prepare for a matchup like this because this is clearly not the Afnas that you're used to from a few months ago, but heavily nerfed. This is a very different take on it, and it might be a little harder to pinpoint what the pivotal cards will be to target or to avoid, or what you can even expect in general. What will be coming out of that reasonably filled hand with 5 cards right now?
yes, that is something still that Afanis has always had. They have always had great card economy with cards in hand that they have been able to play. Now it's not no longer cantripping the magical trainings, but as we can see, there's still ways to make sure that you keep those cards in hands for effect. To see the Tooth Fairy, assuming the hook gets out of play here for sure. Definitely don't want that sitting in there.
Yeah, good to get rid of that. A single little Keelan cylinder will be pushing him up ahead in tempo once more. But keep your eye on that sap infusion.
Yeah, that's what I said.
This
It's just
Tinkerbell can grow real big.
yeah. As we've not played a spell, we'll gain another
Oh,
counter.
I'm gonna put some counters on the cylinder so he can use it the next day. But
All
man,
right.
be very mindful of that sap infusion that will be putting out 4 boosts and a 5th boost from Afras and Senka. So it is not looking shabby at all. and it would keep the cards in his reserve fully alive, prevent them from overflowing as well. Now, as far as I know, no Studious Disciples have been played today. He's playing the rare, by the way, the rare Studious Disciple. It's very interesting to see. But there's no discounts going
That
on
is
as far
that's
as I know.
definitely yeah. I don't yeah. I
In
don't think
case
I've ever
you
played the
need a
rare
little refresher, I needed the Studious Disciple makes the next spell cheaper when you play it, and it's not this turn, but this day. Now look what we have here. It is a spindle harvester like we know and love them.
Yes. Yep. And then again, this is just typical still of Faunus, lines of play. Being able to keep that reserve clear because we're playing our spells and we're picking them back up. Granted, yes, we are giving our opponent card knowledge. They'll know at least one card in our hand is that. But it's also could be good that psychological warfare, right? Like, could you imagine just seeing
That is one
and,
part,
and off you go?
but judging
Yeah.
this play, it might be a little scary because either you're not getting let's say you have a spell right now ready. It's going to be a little tough for you to deal with it. Well, less so now. Um, yeah,
Looked.
all right, that
Oh,
might be the answer they
I
were
don't
looking
see
for.
Joyride often played either. Discard another card from your reserve. If you do, target character gains 2 boost.
Yeah, and you do see some of these staples that we saw in Afanas still seeing play. Magical training, duh. I mean
Yeah.
that is, I mean, such a no-brainer. Still a good card, even if I have to throw it away afterwards.
The important thing
But
here is
Jorah as well. That surprises me a little more.
tossing the sap infusion.
Yeah, he needs those extra cards that the 3 mana spell, our Conjuring Seal will get us.
Yeah, valuing the extra card advantage in hand right now over just to having the um best case of emergency or use that boost just to take things over the edge as well too. So while it would have been nice, I'm sure, to stay in reserve, unfortunately you have to kind of pick what you need. Do I need to draw more answers, or do I just kind of need to have something that's sitting in the wings that could somehow wind up being sabotaged, and then now you just feel like you got no value out of there. Again, those high level decisions, those decision trees that you have to start looking at when it comes to this type of level of play.
Yeah, and filling up your hand like this, staying even with the traced, getting the anchored value for you right here. Yeah, you're starting the day with a little less mana, but having a 5/5/4 definitely makes up for some of that. Now you do have to be mindful of the avalanche that is ready and the
Yeah.
amount of stalling that this trace can put out now, right? Especially with the frozen resupply coming through, the hook giving him a lot of flexibility, allowing him to set up. But when these uniques keep dropping on the side of Avanas, it is
Yeah.
getting harder and harder to really out tempo that even the day after.
Yes, as we take a look at this unique Muna caregiver here, it was when I go to reserve from expedition, you may return a card for me other than me from your reserve to your hand. And at dusk, if I have 2 or more boosts, you may return a card other from me from your reserve to your hand. So literally, we can just snatch 2 cards out of reserve and put them back in hand uh, with the Muna caregiver once they both at dusk and when they hit the reserve.
And look at that. Even though magical training is no longer a card we play, that might be the tooth fairy returning, and then the spindler returning, the conjuring seal to be played the next day as well. And this Avanas is keeping up in cards relatively okay against the traced. Of course, the cards seen by the trace are a little higher because he's resupplying, but Avanas is drawing all of them. So
Yeah.
in the effective cards that we could have been playing in cards in hand, the value is actually very comparable.
Yeah, and also don't forget that we can now pick up that tooth fairy, which means our sabotage is online again. So some of these answers, like that
Exactly.
avalanche that's been looming in there, that hooked, we can now have answers for. And again, this off you go as well. We can just scoop it right back up, and for 2 mana, we are tossing something to the reserve again.
Yeah, and they will be definitely a little more mindful, maybe committing to just a frozen resupply right now. But one way or the other, They're gonna have to find something to put up a fight against a 2/2/2, which sounds easy.
Yeah, unless they have a one
Probably gonna
cost
lose.
though, it's gonna cost you that hooked, and I'd much rather have that hooked, maybe for the
Well,
next
they
day.
they, they could just resupply, right? And then see if they hit something off that.
That's exactly what we do here. Got the
And that is
African
not
side.
the answer they were looking for because they
Yep.
need two in water to be contested. Yes, they can put out a single boost, but that's not going to be enough. And
The
then you're going to have to
Grims.
commit the Grem.
The Grims.
It is good, but man, you are losing a lot of cards as Tracer.
Yes. But we're still keeping ground is what the important thing is here, which I think is a concession that our trace player decided that was going to be the best course of action for now. Being able to make the best of what the situation that you have is also another one of those skills that you develop as a player as you're going towards that next level. You're not always going to see the answers every time. There still is card variance that's in this game, so sometimes you're just going to have to make the best play that's available to you and hope that things work out on the next turn.
Man, it wasn't even a week ago. I was playing a tumult, and I think my opening hand was three Order Spies, two unlicensed withdrawals, and an Orders Legate against a heavy tempo Bravos deck. I was sighing a lot that game. Somehow, I just played the game till the end, and I managed to turn it around. And that just goes to show, Altered has is only finished once one of those expeditions meet each other, and it is definite. Until that time, the game is salvageable. It is winnable.
And that's something I'm glad that you brought up too, Bandit. As you guys are learning to play, don't concede right away when you think the game is over. Eventually, you're not going to be ahead on every game. Every game's not going to feel like a 50-50 back and forth. Get that experience in and start learning how to play from behind. And you start needing that where you can identify the lines and the plays that need to be made in order for you to kind of stabilize things out and start taking the game back in your favor.
It's a different angle. You get to have a look at the game, and depending on the deck that you play, that might be such valuable intel. And you're gonna have to be able to pilot your deck in all circumstances. Also, when let's say there's this attitude of like let's say maybe it's a 10-10-80 division in games you play. 10% of games you will just outright win because you top deck your uniques one after another, and you always have the perfect answer. Sometimes 10% of games you might win through that. 10% of games you might lose because your opponent just drew all three of his uniques at the right exact time that he needed it, and even when you played perfectly, there was no winning against that. That might happen 10% of the time, but those other 80 games you're playing per out of 100, you are making the difference. You are making the difference in winning, losing, and your plays are making you win.
That's something that I definitely want to highlight as well too. When it comes to, and it's been attested for almost any game, not just TCGs, but any game period. If you take uh, two similarly powered decks and you give the same decks to, two different players, the stronger player is always going to come out with the win. Because we just call that you, like you just
Hot
said,
take.
you are that difference. Yeah, you are that difference.
No,
You
but
are the difference maker.
I'm poking fun at it, but the
Yeah.
the point stands 100% to be sure,
Yeah.
and especially in Altered, where the margins that decide how you win are just so small, and the fact you can lose the first 2 days 2-0 and come back from that. I
Hmm.
mean, it'll be an uphill battle. It'll be tough, but that they really put like a limiting factor on how hard you can win, and that is just they have all these natural comeback mechanics that I feel like really reward tenacious players.
I think that's something that drew a lot of new players. I know when we ran the demo when they first, the first official like public launch of Gen Con, I mean of Altered at Gen Con, we had a lot of players who had never played TCGs before, just because of primarily like the head to head competitive nature of it, as well. And nobody enjoys getting turned to. which can happen in some card
No
games.
one.
They draw the nuts to get absolutely blown out. At least what, let's say
That's no fun.
you can get 2-0'd every day, but it would still take like what, 4 turns, I think, to lose the game. So you still got to play the game for 4 turns, which cannot be said about a lot of TCGs right now.
Yeah. Now let's zoom in on this matchup. The Copelia that has just been removed mercilessly by KNP's representative will be enjoying a second play from reserve. Now, putting down this power, Afanas is truly threatening a game win right now.
Yeah,
Same as Trace. They've been going toe for toe.
as we
And
now
when
got the
you
hook
are
in hand.
playing, yeah, when you're going to be playing in arena, gonna have to make up a lot of power. We have seen sap infusions, we have seen off you go. So both sides have that power with them. But if you can prevent all of that and just win outright, well, that would be preferred always.
Oh,
Now, as the thinking cap has been put on by the
yeah,
offense
because
player, weighing
like,
his options carefully.
and we're talking about it here. If we're gonna have to play for the Reno now, there's a decision tree of, at what point am I like, okay, I know the hook's in hand, so I'm probably not going to be able to double advance here. Um, because that has to be looming in his head. We've got 2 mana left.
But is it
Uh,
though? There's only one more play. There's only one more play for the Trace currently. He might actually be looking to hook one of his own creatures, make sure that he can get out like this.
it could be. Yep. While we're putting the hook in the reserve, we're gonna go ahead and play it, I assume.
I feel like he has to be really careful. If you are hooking right now, that is all the power you're getting on the board. It is the play, and it's now up to Afanas, who has sap infusions at the ready, or will be hooking his own creature. Now, double sap infusion would win the game here. That's what I'm saying.
Yep. I mean, off you go from hand
And
here is probably going.
he can discard the Spindle Harvesters to get a discount on his spell as well. So a single sap infusion could win them the game by discarding Spindle Harvesters, making one of the sap infusions only one, so putting a total of 4 might be the difference in need.
Could be a lot of options here. It's very scary because I'm just like, you got 4 cards in hand. I know you've got cards that allow you to pick up stuff out of your reserve. Whether it costs 2 or not would be the thing here. Also, do you just have the other one? As we are spending the harvester, we are playing the field reinforcements out of hand here. Getting the recruit. Um, what else are we looking to combo here? We've got the boost.
Yeah, we got the boost. And just a single spell right now. All right, 2 now as extra boost comes in.
Yeah.
But Joyrides will do it. Off you goes. Will do. There's
Do it.
so many outs for the Afados player right now.
Man. And I hope that there is at least one of them in hand, right?
There you have it.
Beauty
That's the
sleep.
game.
There is still beauty sleep as well too. As that wraps up the game. What a brilliant play. Fantastic gameplay from this Afanas here, who now I'm double checking to make sure that will be their 5th win, which means guess what? This deck list will be on 39cards.com. So obviously you may not be able to replicate those uniques, but maybe you can start seeing the backbone of how the deck is built and be able to work around it from there. Afanas is still just fine.
Man, amen. I am just quickly forwarding this video to my friend who has been more skeptic about the rebalancing of Afanas. And what a beautiful game. Trey's really pushing it to the limits, but just the raw power and flexibility kind of cards that Afanas got to see meant that he could make the difference when it needed it most.
Oh, Gus is still in chat. No, I refuse. Do you refuse, Gus, because it's not bing bong boom gameplay anymore? That what the refusal is? He's Afanas has now
Yeah.
joined the big brained Izmir hero plays now. Do we have any
He
other
has
top
to
tables left
engage
here? Let's
his other brain cell, and he refuses.
right.
I'm just
Table
kidding,
7.
Gus. You'll find your way. You'll find the way forward. I'm sure.
They're both locked in. I guess we go to table 26. Now at this point, it's just kind of the fun games. I don't think anybody else is like in the running for qualifying. Um, but at least we can find the game here. Table 26 is where I'm
Even
at,
more fun.
Bandit.
Even more fun
As
than the
we are
game we just saw.
approaching like 4 minutes on time. 4 minutes left in round, roughly,
Oh, and it looks like we're going to arena
as
the
the
way
game
it's looking
box
right now.
getting loaded up here. Which means, oh, come on, BGA load.
We are going into arena.
I
It is Traced facing off
I
against
love being.
Fen. Yeah,
All right,
and it is one of the
I'm
last
loaded
tables
in
still
as we're getting
playing.
started
So
here.
as
Let's go.
my dog makes his entrance onto the stream
Here we
with one of his
go.
squeaky toys.
Look, I'm surprised I
All
haven't heard
right,
my
we're
kids in the
mulling over
background with
our
their Hot Wheels.
decisions.
My office is upstairs. Starting out first with
It's
this,
okay.
not the Snowball Commando, back pain.
Yeah, and well, what are the options you have right now, right? Holding on to the sleep for now, which might have been valuable as well. Of course, can get rid of it with the Requiem that is hiding in reserve. Nothing
Right.
out left out on the table. And it's all going to be about those Keelan elementals. It's all going to be about the augments that the Sap Sniffer can bring out on the table, the extra boost. You know, it's always surprised to me how much raw power the Trace manages to put out, especially if he manages to hit like the Frankensteins and stuff.
Yeah. Saying Trace get a Dr. Frankenstein inside their reserve, it crushes your soul a little bit. Um, especially if they got permanents that are out
Oh,
there
man.
as well too. So not only being, you know, an absolute static unit coming out for just 2 costs, but then being able to trigger those permanent or when played effects, brutal.
Now, Requiem and Twinkle Twinkle both invested to get rid of a beefy Trace character. Gonna have to come up with another answer as he did invest his hooked just to draw a card. Now, Fan, what do you got? You have that 2-3 out there, Lane, just begging to be played, but no.
Slapping the Hathor out here.
What is better than a 2-3 for 2, right?
Well, 2-3 for 3.
Bam, quick maths, guys.
Coming in with Trace. We're keeping our options alive because we've got both the Haven and the Keelan cylinder available to us. As now we have full card information available as Finn is out of cards in hand. So now we got full
But the
information.
Trace has to be slapping down power. It's simple as that. Every mana that is not spent putting power on the board right now means you're falling behind further.
Yeah, I think we just slapped the Keelan Elemental out there. Once we figure this out here. So we slapped the Elemental. We got a good static card out here. Yep, that's cool. Because we're probably saving the Keelan Elemental unless Snap Sniffer has some reserve effect. Because we got the Twinkle Twinkle coming out to play here. So we're minus 6 stats total for the arena here.
5 mana. Oh, and that is just perfect. 5 mana to overcome a 6/6/3.
And then we
with
still
Raven,
kept
with
our
Haven.
reserve abilities available, which means we're just going to absolutely overrun the arena here because we still got the Haven. We still have a Keelan cylinder. This is all but GG's essentially.
Definitely. Still the boost. There you have it.
Yeah. Got the cylinder on there. And that is all that she wrote. Congratulations, Zora Crow. It's a heck of a play there. Trace player. I didn't see how many wins they had. I know they were down there in the low tables, but that still might put them at 500 or maybe a bit above that, maybe 4-2. Who knows? Who
Yeah, and
knows?
uh, having a win against a player that is a lot higher than you in Elo is always a win. Elo always doesn't tell us the full picture, but it tells us at least a part of the picture, a little bit.
Right, for sure. I'm getting loaded up here. I don't know how many more games we're gonna have left because again, that was
Well, that is good timing
4 minutes.
because
What left?
man, finished,
I think
finished,
that's every
finished, finished.
finish.
30,
Table
30 and
30 and
33.
then table 33. Okay, we'll hop in table
Let's do
30 because
30.
that has the most progress left. Uh,
Exactly.
should be timing out here soon, but we'll head there. Unless they're timing out right now. That's what BJ is trying to tell me to do. Cole, you can't go take a nap yet. We're almost done. Not 3:30 yet. On an adult,
All
we
right, we're
got it.
loading on,
Sigismar versus Gorang,
and well, we do have
which is
the Gorang match.
our our Sigismar player is 3.5 minutes
Has it
over
has it
thinking
ever?
time.
I swear to God, in these Gorang matches, it's rarely ever, or the Akasha matches, it's rarely ever the Gorang or the Akasha that's going over time here.
Yeah. Again,
So
I'm always
don't
a
be
proponent of
quick
it.
to
Just
blame.
makes it. Yeah, I'm in the camp of it's difficult because you're always providing these options because you just know they have so much other stuff over there. And you're just like, what do I do here? And it just makes it more difficult. License withdrawal comes down. I'm assuming to get rid of the Mescatet. No, we're tossing the first recruit in the companion expedition.
Yeah, you need all the power you can get, and Sigismar player does seem to concede himself to his fate,
Yeah.
as he only
Yeah,
has
looks how he
5 more
put in
mana.
chat. He just drew 2 license withdrawals. So literally seeing all 3 of his license withdrawals, I guess. Or maybe that was the second one he drew at the time that he was needing some token generators. As we now see the conscription just drop the absolute hammer out. Conscription is the one card I don't like seeing when I see Sigismar comes out. It's absolutely devastating when it drops out from Gorang.
Yeah, it's just close to unfair. It feels like when you feel it, you feel so doomed.
Again, just the right seem like that
Unfair
separatist
is not
army
the right
march.
word, but you get it.
Yeah, just that, just army of Ortis recruits just marching rank and file all over you. As the Gorang here packs up the win, I think that's probably going to do it for us.
I think
Go
so.
ahead, that other.
I'm ready to
Yep,
call it, as they say.
go to it. Yeah. Bandit, I appreciate you casting with me, buddy. I don't think people would have realized that
It was a
just
lot of
listening
fun.
off of us. This is our first time together. And I thoroughly enjoyed myself.
Truly
Again,
kindred
if you
spirits.
guys find watching this either through a playback or through live, you're interested in wanting to play yourself, we do run 2 of these in AWOL on a weekly basis. Mondays is more of the European friendly time zone. That is at, I don't know what time it is for you guys. I apologize, but I'm in
7
Central Standard Time in the US, and that's
7
at noon
p.m.
for us. Okay, there we go. 7 p.m. And then on Wednesdays is the more America's friendly time zone, which is at 6 p.m. Um, and that's Central Standard Time as well too. So it looks like we're operating kind of around the 7 p.m.s on both ends there to get helped out with there.
Oh
Again,
yeah.
all of these tournaments are free. All you have to do is just register with your BGA account and you can play in them. Again, everybody who goes X and 1 in all of
And
these.
they add to progress now. I do believe.
Oh yes,
So
yes.
this is,
Sign
they are a great way to get the adventure pass or like the season pass leveled up in the app as well. So not only is it free, you're pretty much being rewarded to come play these tournaments.
Yes, again, and you're just rewarding getting the time put in to play the game. It's like all benefits from here because if you've not paid attention to the Discord, on which you have to join the AWOL Discord server in order to participate, or to know when these events are happening. This Bandit, this seasonal invitation, they're going to be
Yeah.
booster boxes of
Oh
Skybound
my.
on the line as prizing
Damn.
the end of
I
season.
don't think I have qualified yet, so I might have to withdraw some of my caster availability to make
Yeah.
sure I'm invited.
Heck yeah, yeah. That's why I said I told them with all the BGA qualifiers, I was just like, hey, I'll cast the European one, but I want to play in the Americas friendly one. And then I don't think I'm available
It's
for
a tough
4 nations,
balancing act
but we'll see.
sometimes.
So yeah, and that's like the beauty about this game. Like almost every game I've played, I've been okay. Like when I'm casting, I'm okay being a casual player. But Altered has been like one of the very few games to where I really want to be a competitive player. But man, if I do not love casting and helping this community grow as well too, and it's a tough
Right.
balancing act to manage. So
It's a good one, but hey, that is life for you, right?
that is life indeed. Managing time and everything else that you love is what we call adulting. But that will do it for us
Awful.
here.
I much
Uh,
prefer playing altered.
Bandit, any closing remarks before I get us signed out here with a few things, with a few
No,
house?
man, I had an absolute blast. I'm gonna thank everyone that managed to watch a little bit or watch a lot of it. Thank you. I hope to see you out there, and until the next time.
Yeah, yeah, definitely look forward to having you there. Hopefully, maybe even seeing the casting, maybe one of your games I'll see on the table here. But again, if you're not
Ooh.
subscribed to the AWOL channel, you are watching the stream here. Hit your notifications when we always go live. That'd be every Monday and Wednesday. And of course, we also do have coverage of a lot of the qualifiers that go on if able. So that way, now that you can play, maybe you can participate as well too. I think we're well over 600 subscribers now. I have to look and see. So we thank the community a lot. Obviously, you guys are showing that you appreciate these between the views that we're getting on the channel. A lot, not only just the live stream views, but going back and watching the VODs and subscriptions. We appreciate you as we are all trying to help grow this community. Again, I encourage you to play. Check out 39cards.com. Usually within a couple of days of the tournament, these deck lists are up and readily available for you to kind of go and scour.
Yeah, take a look at that Afternuts.
Yes,
Take a look at that Afternuts because that is the way to do it.
definitely look at those often us. Again, I am Malmoli, and I did tease earlier that I do have content creator reveals. I have to wait until that proper time that is doing that. But guys, it is about to be reveal season for the next set here. We have hit September in the next
Woohoo!
couple weeks or so. Um, content creator reveal should be starting to roll out here real soon, and I'm definitely excited for that. With
Can't
that
wait.
being said, you can follow me on my socials that's been scrolling here, YouTube or Twitch at Malmolian. I know I haven't uploaded a lot. I plan on trying to get back to it. I've been kind of heavy focusing on casting here so that we can kind of continue growing on what we've got going here as well too. But I definitely do want to get back to making
Much
those videos
appreciated,
for
Malone.
you. So with that being said, you guys have a fantastic evening. If you're watching this during the day from my America's friendly time frame, may the rest of your day be the best of your day, and we will catch you all on Wednesday. Have a great time.